beautiful Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, and they're flocking in to Coors Field. Crowd of more than 45,000 last night. Big crowd again expected today. The final ball game of the first half of the season, and with a win, the Rockies would reach a first-place tie with the San Diego Padres. Let's take a look at the standings. The Rockies are 8-1 on this homestand, and they're a game back at 49 and 38. The Dodgers are 48 and 39. They're 2 games back, and the Giants still very much in the mix. They are 4 back. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. The Rockies win again last night, 4-2. Jason Hamill was terrific, and Colorado offensively hit 3 home runs. Yeah, Cargo hit another one. Brad Eldred hit his first Rockies home run, and Melvin Mora got his first Rockies home run as well. We had an opportunity to talk to Jim Tracy before the ball game, and he reflected back on a first half.
What we've accomplished through the first 88 games is putting ourselves in a position to make the second half of the season very, very exciting. I mean, let's face it, here are the terms that you use. We are in a pennant race, and that's what we've accomplished through the first 88 games under some adverse circumstances.
George Frazier joins me, and they have withstood adversity. They're withstanding adversity right now. You have Johnny Herrera playing second base. Brad Eldred's been there a lot at first base. Todd Helton on the shelf. Troy Tulowitzki on the shelf. And lo and behold, they're on a roll, George.
Well, you kind of surround yourself. When you lose some main cogs in the wheel, you typically come back out and you play pretty good baseball. Because all the guys that come up, they warm, they bring them in, and they make them feel a part of this. Think about this. They're averaging 7.3 runs. That's the team batting average, near 350. That's where they've made the National League climb in that. The thing that jumps out at me, the extra base hits, 36 of them. 15 doubles, 6 triples, and 15 home runs over the span of 8-1. And quite honestly, the starting rotation is 18-3 at home. Great record. But they haven't pitched the way they pitched early in this homestand. It's been a complete team effort.
Well, it's a big start today for Jeff Francis. He'll have the baseball against Clayton Richard, 2 left-handers going at one another. When we come back, we'll talk about that big fella at first base who went deep yesterday. No, that's the other big fella. We'll talk about Giambi and Brad Eldred. Rockies will have 4 days off before the second half begins in earnest, and with the win today, the Rockies will have 50 wins for only the second time in the first half, and the other time came in 2003. And it's a little misleading because the Rockies played 97 games that year in the first half, nowhere near that number this year. So it is a chance to be the best first half in Rockies history, George.
Well, and they've drawn more people in the last 3 years. Over 1.5 million people have walked into this ballpark to watch this group of guys play baseball. That says something.
Yep. And at first base without Todd Helton, it's been a combination the last few days of Jason Giambi, who's red hot, and Brad Eldred, who's red hot in a couple of ball games.
When you can run two guys out that are all hitting .553 in the month of July, it's a pretty good deal when you can send these two guys out. And last night, Brad Eldred was the difference maker in this ball game. A home run to right center field off the back wall of the Rockies bullpen. Giambi, I don't know how you can get any hotter than what he's done and driving in runs. Has there been a lot of home runs? Not a whole lot, but there's been a whole lot of hard singles and a lot of doubles hitting in this time while he's there. He's won ball games against the St. Louis Cardinals. He's done a great job of driving guys in, and this is something you look for from a veteran. I thought Jimmy's handling this right by saying, I'm not going to run him into the ground when he's hot. I mean, he's in the back end of his career. I mean, he's 30-something years old, and it's, why send it out there and make him tired?
Right. All right, who's your Wells Fargo player to bank on?
Who do you think it is today? I think we'll take Brad Eldred. Let's show a little love for the youngster, huh? How about it? Look what he's been able to do. 2 for 5, 1 home run, a couple of RBIs, and had made some nice plays at first base.
Well, he's going to be in there. He's in the middle of the lineup. He'll be facing a left-handed pitcher in Clayton Richard. The Rockies, coming off a sweep of St. Louis, looking to sweep the Padres and move into first place. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. By Quest high-speed internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470, it's easy to use and adds value to your life. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Drive one. Special day at Coors Field. Jeff Francis will take the hill. The Rockies looking to sweep the Padres. They are 8-3 this year against San Diego, and Francis will lead them out onto the field. Gets a slap on the backside from his third baseman, Ian Stewart. And the Rockies hearing it from the crowd. They're 8-1 on this homestand. Last year, they enjoyed their best ever 10-game homestand. George, you remember it well back in September when they went 9-1. They can match that today. Jerry Hairston Jr., as he has done throughout this series, will hit leadoff. Tony Gwynn is dinged up. David Eckstein's not in there again. Rockies have not seen him in this series, and we wish him well after San Diego departs. He's a thorn in most people's sides. Aaron Cunningham has a 9-game hitting streak. He slides up to the 2-hole. Adrian Gonzalez next, and Nick Hundley batting cleanup. Scott Hairston 5. Chase Headley slides out of the 2 spot. Chris Denorfia, Everett Cabrera, and Clayton Richard as we take a look at the scouting report on Jeff Francis, who has struggled in his last 2 outings.
He has struggled, but I think he made some corrected some flaws within the delivery. Fastball 86-90, curveball, slider, and changeup. Changeup a vital part of his repertoire to be successful. He is the 3rd most winningest pitcher at Coors Field at 29-21. Cook leads the way with 34. Here's a stat that a lot of people don't look at. I do as a former pitcher and as a guy playing for winning teams. You look at this, his first half numbers, a game under 500. Second half numbers, 7 games over. Pitching better in the second half. As you heard Jim Tracy today make the comment, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
So Jeff Francis is ready to go. First pitch is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space in your name to 95323. Receive your Domino's special offer to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. Jerry Hairston Jr. is 1 for 6 in the series. He has walked a couple of times. Padres, with that good pitching staff, typically play close games. Yesterday was a close game. Rockies win 4-2. In fact, over their last 21 games, the Padres have played 17 games decided by 3 runs or less. That pitch in there 1-1. One of the subtle changes that Jeff Francis made, George, he slid over a little bit more toward the first base side of the rubber. What does that do?
Hide the ball longer from the hitter, particularly against right-handed lineup. The other thing I think he's done now, too, is this ball's going to end up and out in the glove of Gonzalez. He's trying to stay a little bit more upright on the rubber instead of getting what we call a reverse U in your body and you work uphill. So he's trying to stay tall, a little bit taller on the rubber, and make sure he gets a downward plane to the plate, not flat.
Let's take a look at the Rockies' gloves this afternoon. Cargo, as you saw, is in left field. Dexter Fowler in center. Ryan Spilborgh's in right. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, Johnny Herrera, Brad Eldred, and Miguel Olivo doing the catching. Here's Aaron Cunningham. And that's a high-quality swing there. Nice save off the wall by Miguel Olivo. I mean, what great reactions. Not everybody can block balls both ways, George.
Reaction time.
Yeah. It was good there. Here's the 0-1, and that's too far inside. Cunningham took it and will jog to first. Aaron Cunningham's been impressive. 9-game hitting streaks. Talking to Tommy Runnels, Bob Apodaca about him before the game. It's one of those guys that, he's got an opportunity here, George. Maybe he's a little better than everybody had thought he was.
Well, I think so. A lot of guys continue to have great success. There's a wonderful article on Matt Miller today, a AAA ball club where every year he's hit 300. This year he's hit 300 again. Will represent Colorado Springs at the All-Star game.
Against the American Association back east. That's in there for a strikeout on Adrian Gonzalez. Did I say American Association?
Yeah, international.
International.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-1 on Adrian. Curveball misses 1-1. The Rockies would like to keep a trend going against Adrian Gonzalez this year. They have kept him at bay. Just a .205 average. 1 home run. That came against De La Rosa in this series. He has 5 RBIs. 1 out. Here's the 1-1. And he beat him with a fastball at 89.
So that's a little higher velocity. Last start was 84-87, mostly for Francis. When you work up tall, see how tall he is in that delivery, and then the drop down's late, it allows you to put a lot more force into the baseball.
And this is in the air to Dexter Fowler at center field. That was a miss, George, with the curveball. He didn't get hurt by it.
No, he didn't. Well, you think again, though. When you are a pitcher on the mound and you're facing one of the top 5 hitters in the game, they're going to get their hits. And then obviously he's going to hit a few long balls too. He was fortunate on that hanging curveball that stayed in the ballpark.
I'll bring up Nick Hundley, sharing catching duties with Yorvi Torrealba. They have a nice combination. I've always liked Hundley. He's a high energy player, pretty solid offensively, solid defensively. They're 25 and 22 when Hundley starts. 47 starts for Nick. That pitch misses. And when Torrealba's back there, they're 25 and 15 when Yorvi is behind the plate. Good combination.
Yeah, when you don't miss. And, you know, a lot of people look at how many guys they've thrown out. You know, how does they handle the pitching staff? Well, it's obviously proof in the pudding there whenever you see that type of number.
Lowest ERA in baseball for the Padres. That pitch misses 2-0. Yorvi worked last night. In fact, was 2 for 4. Hitting above 280. And Hundley's hitting 263. Got some pop. Had a couple of doubles on Friday. And it's 3-0. Scott Hairston is the on-deck hitter. Getting that 3-1 situation with 2 outs and decent speed at first. George, was it automatic for you to check out the runner almost?
Yeah, I would. I mean, just trying to tighten him up. Maybe if I can gain an inch off of it, you know. Slow him down a little bit. Maybe allow you to have the force at second base instead of making a longer throw across.
3-2.
Well, real quick, I'm going to do this with 2 outs. Really, maybe some of the folks know this, they don't. But Bob Shepard passed away today. Longtime Yankee PA announcer that at 99 years old. Think all the games this man has seen at Yankee Stadium and things he's done around the game of baseball. He will be missed. Derek Jeter had his voice recorded, and they play it when he comes to bat at Yankee Stadium now. Just says a lot for the man and his relationship with his team, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, legend. A legend in baseball. What did Reggie Jackson said years ago? Is the voice of God announcing your name, right?
It's announced like nobody else in baseball.
Runner will be off on the 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled back. I remember when we went into Yankee Stadium a few years ago, George, to do a series, and there's Bob Shepard. He's one of those iconic figures in the sport that, you know, when you go by, you kind of pause.
Absolutely, you do. Oh, yeah.
Another 3-2, and this is chopped foul. And good for Derek Jeter, because Bob Shepard had been in ill health the last couple of years, and Derek Jeter not only continuing the legacy but honoring him by having Bob Shepard's voice announcing Jeter every time he would come up, and obviously he will continue to do that. It's a classy kid who's a great player also in Jeter. And another foul ball.
That pickoff move to first, and I just watched intentionally. Cunningham has really tightened things up. He actually did not even make a break on a 3-2 count with 2 outs until the pitch was halfway to home plate.
Well, Jeff Francis can hold runners, and the guy the Rockies are going to face today, Clayton Richard, can really hold runners.
Very good move.
Fourth 3-2 pitch. And guess what? There's going to be a fifth.
10 pitch at bat. The 10th pitch getting ready to come to home plate. You're standing on the mound right now going, come on, dude, hit it at somebody, will you?
Well, you know what?
I'm giving you 5 gut shot fastballs. You keep fouling everything off.
You know what it tells me? I mean, he's been sitting on 88 with that two-seam fastball, George. He's got some late movement because, you know, when Cook's on, the baseball's just chopped foul. That's what we've seen the last 4 or 5 foul balls.
And you see the catcher get nicked up because they are only just nicking the baseball. At least his fans are waking up and getting behind Jeff Francis.
And that just missed on the outside corner. So Hundley to first, Cunningham to second, and Scott Hairston will come up.
Well, let's see where this is. You see it's kind of filling it up with everything else. This just off the plate. Brad Hickok behind the plate. You've seen it the last couple of nights. They ring him up. Today, they did not.
Ed Hickok, as George mentions, behind the plate, fielded Colbreth at first, Marty Foster at second, Gary Cedarstrom's down at third base, the crew chief. Hairston, 8 home runs, 27 driven in. And that's in there for a strike. Hey, there's only 6 days left for the Boys and Girls Club Rocky Mountain Raffle second prize drawing. The entry deadline is next Friday. Go to RockyMountainRaffle.com to sign up for your chance to win $5,000. Hairston went to high school in Tucson, makes his offseason home in the Phoenix area. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's kind of nice, Mom and Dad. Let's go watch the boys go play today.
Yeah.
You're not traveling all over the United States to see a couple of your sons in baseball. You just go to the same ballpark.
Pretty neat. Here's the 1-1. And that's a base hit up the middle for Hairston. Cunningham around third. He will score. And the Padres get a run against Francis with 2 outs here in the first.
Right, the one thing that's disturbing Jeff right now is they didn't earn it. He hit one and walked one to put him into a position of this versus forcing the issue and to make them make the contact. And he got a pitch right out over the middle of the plate. Went down and got it. Line drive right back up the middle. Put the Padres up 1-0.
That'll bring up Chase Headley. Hitting from the right side against Jeff Francis. And Bud Black moved him down the lineup today. And I think Chase 0 for 9 in the series. He's hitting much better from the left side than the right side. In the last 2 days, Jim Tracy late in ball games went with Joe Beimel to flip around Headley and then face Gonzalez. And I think to avoid that potentially, this is just my supposition, that he moved Cunningham into that 2-hole. This way late in the game, if Beimel's going to match up, it's going to be maybe for 1 hitter in Adrian Gonzalez and not 2.
Right, but you know what I think the things managers overlook, opposing managers, is the ability of Joe Beimel to get right-handers out. You know, I mean, he's very good at it. By the way, the Padres have only come back in games when they haven't scored first 12 times out of those 50 wins. They're 38-14 this year when they score first.
1-1 on Headley. Francis trying to put this inning down. All of a sudden the pitch count is, he had a chance around the 15th pitch of the inning. He'll be headed to the dugout, and his next pitch will be the 27th as he had that lengthy at bat with Hundley, and Hundley finally won out with a walk. And then Hairston greeted him with a base hit. So it's 1-0 San Diego, 2-1 on Headley. Now it's 3-1.
And I suspect Bob Apodaca is going to get a call from Jim Tracy.
If he loses him, there's no question. Yeah.
Go out and visit with Jeff.
And it's going to come right now because the bases are loaded. 2 walks and a hit batter in the inning. And Bob's on a job.
You know what? And this is, there's certain guys you play with in the game that really, let's say they go 2 for 4 and you lose 3-1. They're the happiest guy in the locker room. There's the next night when you win 4-2 and he goes 0 for 4. He's the maddest in the locker room. And it's more about me than the team. And Jeff's so much the opposite of that. He wants to be such a part of wins and helping his ball club win games that it eats at him pretty good.
Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 runs or more during any game, go to Taco Bell in the state. The next day between 4 and 6, get your Rockies Taco Special. Only at Taco Bell. Chris Denorfia was at the plate. And you're right. I mean, Jeff is all about team. Last year when he was hurt, he's with the club every single day. And that's not always the case when a guy's rehabbing. And he desperately, he wants to do well for himself. Anybody does. But he wants to do well and help this club out. He's hit a rough patch here after finally coming off the disabled list. He was very good initially. His last 2 starts have not been good. And this has been not the kind of start he was looking for, though. You know what? If he gets an out here, George, you get a run in the first inning. You can move on.
Move on with it. The only thing you worry about is the effectiveness down the road in the 5th, 6th inning. Is it going to be a short start because of the length of this first inning? By the way, Denorfia is 4 for 5 with a couple of doubles. The bases loaded this year. He has 7 RBIs with the bases loaded, more than about a half of his RBIs on the season.
I'll tell you what wouldn't surprise me is Jim Tracy, as much as he cares for and respects Jeff Francis's ability, you see a base hit here, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chacin up early.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I think that's probably a pretty good call. Kemp or Aaron Cook. Cook's down in the bullpen right now, too.
I think it'll be Chacin. Just my guess. 0-2, though, right now in Denorfia. Hopefully that's not necessary. Crowd still gathering at Coors Field. Rock pile filling up. So walk-up sales again today will be brisk after more than 10,000, a Rockies record yesterday. Denorfia making his 28th start this year with the Padres. Tried to get the ball on the inside corner and missed. It's 2-2. Probably, George, where he'd go to his bread and butter, and that's, you know, that two-seam arm side fastball.
Well, and again, it's a pitch that's going to fade away, and hopefully it sinks and takes the contact away from him.
That's what he did. He got the punch out. That had a lot of late sink. In the inning, a run comes around for the Padres, but they leave him loaded. 34-pitch first inning for Jeff Francis. Dexter Fowler. He'll lead things off against Clayton Richard. He'll be followed by Jonathan Herrera. All he's done is produced a hit in 20 of his last 21 ball games. That's rather good. Carlos Gonzalez, all-star numbers. Ryan Spilborgh's Miguel Olivo, all-star numbers. Brad Eldred has had an impact in his first couple of ball games with the Rockies. Ian Stewart swinging the bat well, Clint Barmas, and then Jeff Francis. And the former Michigan quarterback, Clayton Richard, fires for a strike. Came up with the White Sox, part of that Jake Peavy deal.
We didn't see the movement there on the very first pitch thrown to Dexter, but it was interesting because Gonzalez came in about 8 or 10 steps on the grass, and their second baseman, Hairston, had already made a move going to first base, anticipating a push bunt.
2-1.
I'll tell you the other thing you look for when a starting pitcher warms up, and typically they will walk from the visitor's bullpen. Adrian needs some sunglasses or a glove.
That walks to the glove broke.
Yeah, glove must have broke. But they walk in from the bullpen. So you figure they've still got the at-bat of their team to go through, and it was about almost a 15-minute first half, top of the first, of how quick they loosen up.
This may take a moment, by the way, George, not to interrupt, because they probably got to go up to the clubhouse to his locker to get his backup.
More than likely, that's exactly what they're going to do. It'll take a couple of minutes for him to run up there and somebody to grab it. Trust me, all those young clubhouse guys, they got great wheels. They can get up. Old guys, they got no shot. Let's look at the scouting report of Mr. Richard. Today you look at 88-93, very good curveball slider that turns into a strong cutter to right-handers in on the hands, and then a changeup. But he doesn't use a whole lot, but 80 to 84 miles an hour.
Adrian's got his back up. He's headed to first base. And what many of you may not know is the trainers typically serve as the glove repair guys also in baseball.
They usually do. And sometimes equipment guys, but more times than not, it's the trainers because they're sitting on the bench the whole game and they're working on gloves and doing different things.
Here's a 2-1, and that's a strike. 2-2 on Dexter. Keith Duggar's great at it. Keith collects gloves too, so he has a particular fascination with working on gloves. That's fouled off. Dexter been terrific since returning from Colorado Springs, but the last couple days running into some good pitching. 0 for 10, 7 strikeouts. And this ball's hit the center field. Easy play for Chris Denorfia, 1 out. Let's take a look at the gloves for San Diego. Hairston, Denorfia, and Cunningham in the outfield. Chase Headley's at third, Everett Cabrera at shortstop, Jerry Hairston Jr. and Adrian Gonzalez on the right side of the diamond. Nick Hundley's behind the plate.
Clayton Richard has not given up a home run to a left-handed batter in 106 at-bats.
Yeah, none this year.
3-3 at home, though. You know, it's interesting. 3-3 at home, an earned run average of 3. Not on the road, it's about 290, but a 3-1 run.
Got roughed up a little bit by the Nationals in his last start. It's a good arm. He is part of the nucleus of the rotation. Latos, Matt Latos. This kid, Clayton Richard.
He showed a little bit of what he could do a year ago. To me, Latos has just taken off.
Yeah. Talking to Bud Black about Latos, he's grown up a lot. There was never a question about his ability. There was a question about his maturity level. And to his credit, he's taken care of some of that.
Well, you know what? I think with a lot of young guys that come to the big leagues early, all of a sudden you're making $60,000 a month. You know, I mean, you think you're on top of the world. Sometimes you forget what you had to do to get here and continue to do it.
You know, Latos, George, since May 12th, 9-1 with a 1.47 ERA. That bears repeating. 9-1, 1.47 ERA. Fortunately, the Rockies didn't see him in this series. Then again, the Padres didn't see one of Ubaldo Jimenez either. 1-2, and Johnny fouls it off. 87 degrees game time temperature today. Neither team hit out on the field because it was family day for the Rockies, of course. That means all the little kids get to play wiffle ball out on the big league diamond.
All the dads throwing to their kids, all the players out enjoying it.
On the ground to Cabrera. 2 outs. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. Toyota Diamond Details, brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Yesterday's walk-up sales, as we mentioned, at Coors Field totaled 10,362 fans, which is a new club record. The previous best earlier this year when the Dodgers were in town, 9,172. Something tells me that record may not last long. Not the way this club's playing. Cargo seems like every ball game now, George is putting out 2-3 hits, and one of them's leaving the ballpark.
Well, everything's hit hard. I mean, that's the most amazing thing about it. You may get him in that first at bat, but you won't get him throughout the entire ball game. It's a rarity.
When was the last out he produced that honestly wasn't scalded? 7th in the league in hitting at .312. Here's the 2-0. And that's going to be an out. Thought off the bat, had a chance to sneak over Everett Cabrera's head. 1-2-3 start for Clayton Richard. The Padres leading 1-0. Jimenez, in case you were unaware, he is going to the All-Star game. We assume he's going to start the All-Star game for the National League. Here's your take your break. Breaks plus, full of the game. And show it to you again, strike one. The first pitch, Jeff Francis to Everett Cabrera. All right, are you going to watch the All-Star game? Text Rocks 1 for yes, Rocks 2 for no.
I'm going to watch the first 2 innings if he starts.
I love the All-Star, the baseball All-Star game. It is, to me, the best All-Star game by far. Hey, show this text at Brakes Plus for $25 off any brake service, $10 off any oil change and filter. Offer valid through the month of July at Brakes Plus. Clayton Richard coming up. Can't go to sleep on him. He can swing the bat. 5
RBIs, 207 average. By the way, I got a little beef with somebody, one of our colleagues. Well, it's not little, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
John Miller was, here's a tap route from him. John Miller was on a radio show last week, and he said that he feels that the Rockies changed the balls in later part of the ball game if they're trailing. They change them out and put the non-humidor balls in that fly farther than the ones with the humidor that keep them normal. And they're all kept in a bag. They're all kept in the humidor for 30 days. This is something when they decided, Dan O'Dowd thought this was a way to keep it an equal playing field. Because, folks, really what the humidor does, it keeps the baseball to its natural state. It doesn't tighten up. It doesn't become hard where the ball travels. And for whatever reason, John Miller wants to say something. Well, where was it in the 15-inning game? Why didn't they use those balls, they supposedly secret baseballs in the ninth, so he could have gone home 6 innings early? But for me, the Rockies are having success because of the pitching staff and because of the defense and timely hitting. They're not having success because somebody's down there fooling around with the baseballs, which they are not doing.
Well, it's a ludicrous statement, and I have the utmost respect for John Miller. He's a great broadcaster. It's a ludicrous statement. This could be a problem. It will be a base hit for Hairston with 2 outs. The baseballs are rubbed down by the clubbies. They come out of the humidor. The humidor is approved by Major League Baseball. They have to I believe it's once a week, give an update on whatever the update is about the number of baseballs in the humidor to Major League Baseball. And see that camera right there, which goes to the Major League Baseball offices in Park Avenue.
And the ball
the ball bag is right below that. That's where it is every day, so they can see the ball bag.
Well, not only that.
What do you do? Label the balls CO, Colorado offense only or something, and then you'll hand them to the umpire? I mean, it's silly.
Now, here's the balls right there next to the bat boy. You can see them. Obviously, in that black bucket, those are the ones that get put into the ball game. There's usually about 10 dozen that get rubbed up by umpires, but most of the time it's by the visiting equipment manager that works the visitor side. They rub those balls up. They're rubbed up. They're put back in boxes, and they sit in the humidor for about 35 days before they're actually put into a game. So nobody's fooling around with the baseballs. Give credit where credit's due, John. And to me, that's better pitching, better defense, and they do a good job with it. Sour grapes. Sorry.
Yeah, that made no sense. And we move on. 1-0 on Aaron Cunningham, who was hit by a pitch his first time up and ended up scoring. Way out front, 1-1. Usually, George, you don't want to throw that changeup on the inner half. That ball ended up on the inner half, but he had success with it.
Well, if you got a good one, you can go either side. If it's going to cut, sink, or sail, and you throw something straight in there, you get into a danger.
Big jump, Hairston, no chance for Miguel Oliva.
6 stolen base for him out of 9 attempts so far. Big jump. Hairston at first base, got a read on Jeff Francis, saw the leg come up. When the leg came up, Jeff's head went to the home plate area. That's when he took off.
That's 3-1 on Cunningham. Francis got 2 quick outs. Ground ball off the bat of Cabrera. Comebacker by Clayton Richard. Then Hairston a bloop single. Now stolen base. And he's 3-1 on Aaron Cunningham, who's been swinging the bat better than anybody in that Padre lineup. He's got a 9-game hitting streak. And that is down the left field line. It's going to be 2-0. And for Cunningham, he's got a 10-game hitting streak and a double.
Fastball, 87 miles an hour. You look where this pitch is. See, it's too high. That's belt tight. You get the ball down in the strike zone a little bit farther. You're probably going to have a little more success with it. He just roped it down the left field line. Harrison's going to come around to score relatively easy. Jerry Harrison.
Adrian Gonzalez hit a fly ball to center field. Pretty deep center field. This ball is fouled off down the left field line. Adrian got a hanging curveball to swing at his first time up. Padres beat Francis on June 30th at Petco, scoring 8 runs against him in 3 innings on 7 hits, on the way to a 13-3 victory. It's the most runs Jeff has given up since his return. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gonzalez in his career has not done well against Francis. Just 4 for 27. And a ground ball that's handled on the backhand by Jonathan Herrera. Took his time and fired a strike to Brad Eldred. 2-out single by Hairston, double by Cunningham, 2-0 Padres. Colorado went quietly in the first. Ryan Spilborgh's hitting in the cleanup spot against Clayton Richard, and he'll be the first up, followed by Miguel Olivo and Brad Eldred. Richard 3-1 with a sub-3 ERA out on the road this year. Lefties hitting .217 against him, righties .263. Spilborgh's overall numbers against left-handed pitching this year not good, but he got off to a poor start, and of late he's produced a number of hits against lefties, hitting .232 for the season, but .317 over his last 41 at-bats against lefties. He held up 1 and 2. There's the splits.
Well, what it really does too with his success rate of what's going on for him, it makes things pretty interesting for Jim Tracy late in the game if he has Giambi, Hop, and Smith to run up there from the left side.
Ground is short. Today's kid question is brought to you by promoting responsible fatherhood. Be there for your kids. It matters. Let's check in for the first time this afternoon with Alana Rizzo.
All right, guys, thanks very much. I'm right outside the Coors Clubhouse, and I ran into Paul and Sonia Singlestad. And Sonia's 11 years old. These guys are from Morrison, Colorado, and I understand she has a question for you. Go ahead, Sonia.
How many walk-off Grand Slams have there been in the Rockies' history?
All right, perfect. How many walk-off Grand Slams have the Rockies had in their franchise? We'll go ahead and send it back inside the Coors Field and let you guys answer that one.
All right, Alana, thanks very much.
Karnak, what do you got, man? One?
Spilly. Last September.
San Francisco.
No, it was last August.
San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, the 14-inning game, 6-4. George, where's your Ed McMahon?
I was looking for it. I didn't. It's forever.
Gonzalez makes the catch. Yeah, the handkerchief that
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many people remember Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon and the great Karnak.
Our generation and beyond do. Love Johnny Carson. Hey, if you want your question answered on the air, visit coloradodads.com. 2 outs, and here's Brad Eldred. Eldred hit a home run against the back wall of the bullpen last night. It turned out to be the difference in the ball game as the Padres rallied for a couple of runs when the Rockies were up 4-0. The final score 4-2. Houston Street picked off another save. It's the hardest ball he's thrown in this game. That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Here's the home run from last night.
You know, I thought it was interesting today when Jim Tracy commented about Brad Eldred, and he said that, you know, he's in Pittsburgh. He was the lead mule pulling the train. And it's nice that here he can relax a little bit because he's surrounded by an awful lot of pretty good players that can kind of help him through it. I mean, he's hitting 6th, 7th in the lineup. He's got some leadership in the locker room for him. I know he's 29 years old, but you know, he can relax and play the game and not feel like he's carrying a load.
Well, what he said, George, just to elaborate on your point, is that, and he said, I don't mean any disrespect to the Brad Eldreds and the Johnny Herreras, but they're complementary pieces, and we need them to step forward and help us out. But if they're not foundational pieces, you're not building your team around a Brad Eldred in Pittsburgh. You know, a lot was asked of Brad Eldred. Hey, you hit 4-hole every day, and we need you to hit 40 home runs
on a bad baseball team.
On a bad baseball team, that's tough. You know, today he's hitting 6th in the lineup. 2-2. 6 up, 6 set down for Clayton Richard. The Padres leading 2-0 as we go to the third. FSN is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Brakes Plus a whole lot more. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club level seats. And by Hyundai Uncensored. Real people, real comments on the all-new Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. Nick Hundley out of the cleanup spot with the Padres leading 2-0. Jeff Francis to work in the top of the third inning, and that pitch fouled straight back. Hundley walked in the first inning. Both Padres runs coming with 2 outs. First inning frustrating for Jeff in particular because there was only 1 hit. A hit batter, a walk. Scott Hairston's RBI single, and there was another walk behind it. Finally, Jeff struck out Chris Denorfia to end the inning. Last inning, he got the first 2 hitters out. Jerry Hairston singled, stole second, and then Cunningham doubled him home, lining a ball down the left field line. 2-strike count on Nick Hundley. Francis tried to change the eye level a little bit. He'd been down, 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 and then went up above the belt there. It's just the 6th time this year that Nick is hitting the cleanup spot. Hard ground ball. Eldred knocks it down, gets it to Francis, 1 out. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. This is from Jimmy Pearsall. You know it's going to be this early? Yeah, I did too. I've heard this one before. On how to diaper a baby. Spread the diaper in the position of the diamond with you at bat. Then fold second base to home and set the baby on the pitcher's mound. Put first base and third together. Bring up home plate and pin the 3 together. Of course, in case of rain, you got to call the game to start all over again. A broken bat, base hit for Scott Hairston. He's 2 for 2. That'll bring up Chase Headley. Well, the Rockies were very hopeful they were going to get a call from Major League Baseball this morning that stated that Carlos Gonzalez would be replacing Jason Hayward on the All-Star team. That call never came, and then we read online not all that long ago, I mean, this decision took a while evidently, that Charlie Manuel, in replacing Hayward, took the left-handed pitcher Hung-Chi Kuo of the Dodgers. Kuo 3-1, a 1.03 ERA. Runner going, and the throw is not in time. So, Jeff, with that big leg kick, George, the Padres starting to take advantage.
5 for 7. That's what the opposition has been against Jeff Francis on the stolen base. I think the one thing you do as a lefter, once you do raise the leg, watch his head. Leg comes up, head goes to home plate. So what it does now, you see him start to take off the minute the leg got to the high leg kick. As soon as that happens, obviously makes it a little easier for the base runner.
Now ball right side. Headley's thrown out. 2 outs. Scott Hairston at third. That'll bring up Denorfia.
Struck out with the bases loaded back in the first inning. 2 fastballs away and then a changeup down and in.
So what's changed with the All-Star game, George, since the commissioner said, hey, game 7, if there is one, home field advantage is going to go to the winner of the All-Star game. I think in the past it would have been a foregone conclusion. An outfielder goes down, in this case Hayward, he'll be replaced by an outfielder. But Charlie Manuel, there's been a lot of speculation, he's going to take Jason Worth, who's got good numbers, not quite as good as Carlos Gonzalez, but he's his own guy. But he's looking down there. He goes, you know what? I want another lefty for late in the ball game, maybe to match up with American League slugger.
Yeah, and again, I can't stress this enough. The decision is not just Charlie. The National League's involved in it. The commissioners all are involved in it. He's got 29 managers lobbying. I'm sure Jim Tracy called for Cargo's benefit. You know, Dan O'Dowd may have called him, but you know, you're trying to get that guy on the All-Star team. And he did what he thought was best to try to win a game, along with in conjunction with the National League in the commissioner's office. And I think when people say just Charlie Manuel, I think you create animosity in 28 other cities against Charlie Manuel. Charlie is a part of the process, but it's also the National League, and it's also the managers of other teams, and it's the commissioner's office.
Well, let's say he had taken Jason Worth. He's got to be with Jason Worth because this is swung on and missed every day of the year, and they have a good relationship, and if it's close, you understand that, even though Gonzalez has the better numbers. But they went in a completely different direction. 2-0 Padres. Two to nothing. The Rockies without a hit so far. Ian Stewart out of the 7-hole leadoff against Clayton Richard. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com. Foul ball. And just to conclude that story on the All-Star game and Jason Hayward being replaced, Charlie Manuel initially called another left-handed pitcher, Hayward's teammate, the veteran Billy Wagner, to fill the spot. Wagner opted to stay at home and rest a sore ankle, and that's when Kuo got the call. Kuo becomes the first Taiwanese-born All-Star. 1 out. That'll bring up Clint Barnes. This date in history is brought to you by Dex One Marketing Solutions Business Results, July 11, 1961. Candlestick Park hosts the first of 2 All-Star games in the 61 season. Strong winds play a role in the outcome as Stu Miller gets blown off the mound in the 9th inning, resulting in a balk. The AL tied the score at 3-3, but then falls to the National League in 10 innings, 5-4. That's a very famous story. He's not the only guy to get blown around at Candlestick Park.
Been a lot of guys, particularly a lot worse until they closed the upper deck on the right field side. It used to be all open.
Two-strike count on Barnes. Well, you know, Richard, George, started the ball game 90, 91. He's been sitting on 95 the last few batters.
Well, look at pitch count, too. Just 9 balls have been thrown in the first 3 innings, or 2 2/3 innings. He was pounding the strike zone with a couple of pitches.
Jeff Francis takes strike 1. Rockies have a 6-game winning streak. Down 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
See, when he misses, he's missing where he wants to.
George, if I may, Doug has been trying to get this note in.
Go ahead, get it in. Go quick.
All season long.
Go quick.
The Rockies' home run drought for pitchers: 6 years, 2 months, and 3 days.
Jason Jennings or Mike Hampton?
I think it's Jennings.
You don't have that information, Doug? You got everything else. You don't have that.
Reads. The Padres are second in the big leagues with a .990 fielding percentage. What's the major league record for fielding percentage in a season? You better get this one right. Everett Cabrera out of the 8-hole, leading off in the 4th inning. Padres up 2-0. Jeff Francis completing his warm-up pitches. Padres, after the All-Star break, will begin at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks on Friday, and then they'll go back east. They'll play Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Rockies, George, will not see the Padres again until the beginning of September. They'll see him twice. Beginning of September will be at Petco, And then in mid-September, they'll see the Padres on the 13th, 14th, and 15th right here at Coors Field. 2 strikes to count on Everett Cabrera. He's in one of those spots right now, George, where he can just go up and he can stamp 0-2 on him. Deep in the hole and a base hit. Boy, that's a frustrating deal for a pitcher and pitching coach. When you have a guy that's really struggling at the plate. Cabrera did that last night. He got a base hit 0-2.
Yeah, he did. And you do have an 0-2 count or a 1-2 count, even want to try to put him away. Now you have to watch for the stolen base to become a part of this inning again, because Cabrera's 7-2. He's very fast.
Yeah, but you know you're going to bunt here, you assume,
right,
with Richard.
But then you got to up when he gets to second base. When you got 1 out, you know, if Francis were to strike out Harrison, now you got 2 and a guy on second. Don't be surprised if he doesn't try to steal third base.
You know, Richard,
right-handed bat up too.
Richard, at least what he's demonstrated, scouting report-wise, George, may have a more impactful bat when he swings it as opposed to when he does this, tries to bunt.
There's a lot of guys that can't bunt. See, and for a left-handed guy, it makes me nervous every time anyway. If they're not a good bunter, then they wrap the hand up over the top of the bat. The left hand, he's putting his pitching hand out to be exposed. I was never a big fan. Keep that, if we could, guys, keep the camera on him. When he squares around, see how far his hand slides up the bat?
See, that was awful.
See, I'm not a big fan of a pitcher sliding his hand up. I mean, I was a right-handed pitcher, so I had right-handed hand up quite a bit. We'll see if he does it again. But, I mean, he's bringing it up. Hold the bat still, Clayton, so I can do this. Pay attention. Clayton, you're not listening. But it was very, very high up. See, look how far up that hand is. It's almost to the label. You got this one accomplished. Maybe. Stop. Maybe.
1 out. Everett Cabrera in scoring position. Today's Fast Cash Sideline Report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers. You'll always get 40% more for your gold. Here's Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. A bit more on Carlos Gonzalez, a bit more all-star talk. Yesterday, he had the great home run. They also had the great defensive play to rob Adrian Gonzalez of a potential home run. And Jim Tracy was asked, who do you like more, Carlos the batter or Carlos the defender? He said, you know what, I'm a huge fan of Carlos Gonzalez, the player. He said at this very time last year, the same media that's praising him right now was asking Jim Tracy, when is he going to be taken out of the lineup because he couldn't get things going seemingly at the plate. He said he has exceeded every single expectation that we've ever had for him. He said, of course, he still wishes that he was there. They were hoping that they were going to get the call today. That did not come, but Carlos Gonzalez, all-star numbers.
Base hit, and here's Gonzalez throwing to the plate. It was cut off by Stewart. That call, I assume, came from Olivo. I thought that throw may have given them a chance to get Everett Cabrera. Would have been close. Stewart trying to get the runner, perhaps taking a wide turn at first, Jerry Hairston.
What Ionetta's looking at when this ball's hit, because it was hit hard to left field on the line. So now when Gonzalez gets the ball right there, he's got the ball. He's at third base. He's looking as the ball's coming in. How far away is he there? Is the ball going to have enough carry to get to the plate before he yells cut? And I think that's exactly what happened there. And he cut the ball off, or Levo, excuse me. He was catching, and they had the ball cut.
Well, the Rockies are going to get action in their bullpen. Yoli Chacin is up. Bob Apodaca is at the mound. 3-0 Padres. Here's the catch that Alana was alluding to. Adrian Gonzalez flirting with a home run. And Carlos Gonzalez leaps and makes the catch.
Boy, great camera work, isn't it neat? What I like about that more than anything else, you watch the receiving end of it. Watch their eyes, the focus, the concentration, know where it goes. It happens so fast.
When the ball's hit up in his direction, there's no worry. Here's Chacin, who was just removed recently from the rotation when Jorge De La Rosa came back. It's a nice tool to have in Chacin, because if somebody falters or gets hurt in that rotation, George, Chacin's throwing the ball very, very well.
Oh, very well. I mean, there's no question. 5 wins. Could have, should have, probably more than that.
He's a puppy. He's 22 years of age, but you just look at the numbers and the performance. He's been one of their top 4 or 5 without question.
Well, Francis varying different things to first base now to try to control the running game. They stole 2 bases off of him in this ball game. Both of the bases that were stolen resulted in runs.
Cunningham at the plate. Chassin.
Two things happen. Jimmy Wright will call on the phone, or he'll stand on the mound looking at the dugout and take their hat off. That's an indication they're ready.
And he's moving pretty quickly down there. Jeff has been in trouble in every inning. You can't afford, especially the way Richards throwing the baseball, you can't afford to get too far down. This is a bullet right back up the middle. It's going to be a play. The only reason that's not first and third is the ball was hit right over the bag. Barmes got it, tagged the bag, and fired to first. 6-3 double play. Another run for the Padres, though. Hit the Rockies 6-zip, bottom of the fourth inning. And the Rockies have Dexter Fowler at the plate. First pitch from Clayton Richard, missed, ball one. The Rockies have not come close to producing a hit yet in this game.
You're looking at two of the best fielding clubs. As you mentioned earlier in this ballgame, it just joined us. Minnesota's #1 in major leagues, and San Diego, Cincinnati, New York, and the Rockies. Number 9 in baseball. You know, as good as they are, they seem like it'll be higher than 9.
Well, they started slowly. If you remember, April wasn't the smoothest of months defensively for this club. 3-0 on Dexter. He'll be taken, and that's ball 4. So the Rockies have their first base run. Fowler leads to begin the fourth inning. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Best franchise start through 87 games. This year, 49-38. Back in '95, a playoff year, first playoff season for the Rockies. They went 48-39. The only time they've led the division at the break was the '95 season. That's outside the box, brought to you by Jack in the Box. They led the division by 5 games at the All-Star break. Would make the postseason as a wild card team in '95. And this year, if they win today, they'll be in a tie for first place. Strike one on Jonathan Herrera. He bounced to short. That's been a popular thing to do in this game. Cabrera has had 3 chances already. Now, describing Clayton Richards' moves, Tommy Ronalds, the bench coach, was saying he's got the high leg kick where he'll go to first, and he's got the mid kick, and then he's got the slide step. This ball's hit pretty well to right, and it is a fair ball. It's going to run to the corner. And then a problem with it by Cunningham. Here comes Fowler, and the throw to the plate is no time. Triple for Herrera, and it's a 3-1 ball game. Oh, you gotta love that Jonathan Herrera. Every day he's doing something.
guess what? There went the no-hitter. There went the shutout. All in one swing from Jonathan Herrera down the right field line, misjudged in right field by Cunningham as he came to try to get to the baseball, didn't recognize how well it was hit, and then Dexter Fowler just outran the throw to the plate to put the Rockies on the board. 3-1 now.
And now you have a runner at third, nobody out, middle of the order up. Carlos Gonzalez with 58 RBIs standing in the batter's box.
First triple for Jonathan this year.
He came close yesterday. Took a great relay to get him out. Boy, oh boy, that was a smidgen from being a tie ball game, George.
Elevated fastball. 11-game hitting streak now for Jonathan Herrera.
And he had a 10-game hitting streak a couple weeks ago. 21 of his last 22 ball games he has a hit in. And that's a base hit left center field. It's a one-run ball game. 59 RBIs for Carlos Gonzalez. George, I've been watching carefully. That guy, number 5 at first base, is a pretty good player.
No kidding. Let's watch this swing from him. Watch how his leg comes up, but the hands never do move. And he kind of comes to a balance point. Freezer right out there. See how this thing balances out front? And when that foot hits, here comes the bat right behind it. Allows him to see the ball longer and then explode on it. That's exactly what he did. He got his hands ready. Almost a predetermined swing was going to happen because of all the strikes that's being thrown. Only 14 balls thrown in 4 innings by Richard. Boy, he took advantage of it. So did the little fella.
Bill Borks takes it to dirt, ball 1. The Venezuelan connection, the two childhood buddies producing RBIs here in the 4th inning. Jonathan Herrera and Carlos Gonzalez. How about this? Carlos Gonzalez has played 165 games, George, in a Rockies uniform now. He's hit an even 300 with 30 home runs and 88 RBIs, 28 stolen bases. He's stolen 108 runs. It's basically a full season, a couple games more. This ball is a shot to second. That's going to be a double play.
Well, numbers of MVP type numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about Votto in Cincinnati might have the edge on that at the halfway point. This kid's made some big moves. Hey, if you haven't done this yet, you might want to investigate this. A 15-game mini plan, it's now available. It also includes any of the games remaining, some great games. And if the Rockies happen to get to the postseason, you would have an opportunity to buy a ticket for the postseason. Pick up the phone, 303-ROCKIES, or go to ColoradoRockies.com for the 15-game mini plan.
Olivo down. That's a fair ball. And Miguel's going to have himself a 2-out double. Well, George, the first time through, advantage Clayton Richard. Now the second time through, so far, advantage Colorado Rockies.
A couple of hits, 3 hits. One of those a triple. Singles to drive in the triple. He got a ball away from him, really extended the arms, cheated on a little bit, got out front, and just shot it right by third baseman Headley down in the left field corner for a double.
And Miguel continuing to hit over 400 in his career at Coors Field. It's not, in 30 at bats. He's got more than 120 at bats here at Coors Field now. Brad Eldred.
Change up away, and his last at bat ended up in a strikeout. He started out with a change up here at 86. Trying to decide where they wanted to go with this. Last thing that Hundley did was outside location to give it to him. The same exact changeup that got him in the first at bat.
2-strike count on Eldred, who literally fills up the entire batter's box. His back foot, his right foot, wipes out the back line. That's pretty typical. Then watch where his front foot is, and once he strides, he takes up the whole batter's box. Pretty close.
Big man with a big stick. And it's not amazing, but what catches your attention is you think you can come inside with a fastball and get it by him. He'll foul that pitch off a lot, or he'll hit it in the seats.
Two and two. Brad working himself back into the count. Rockies have scored 2 here in the 4th after Richard was perfect through the first 3. Fowler got it going with a walk. Triple by Herrera, single by Gonzalez. And now 3 and 2.
Read that out of the hand much better than Brad Elder did to stay off of that pitch. And Stewart waiting in the on-deck circle. Rounded out to second base in his first at bat.
Bud Black looking on. Rockies have won the first 2 in this 3-game set. With a win today, they tie the Padres for first in the West. And a big chopper to third. Headley throws out Brad Eldridge. Rockies get 2 back. It's a 1-run ball game as we go to the 5th. Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club level seats. Like Comcast, learn to advertise your business on cable. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com. By your neighborhood Toyota stores, Toyota moving forward. And by Old Chicago, eat, drink, and be yourself. At the beautiful ballpark at 20th and Blake. Coors Field the spot. George Frazier, Drew Goodman, the Rockies trail 3-2. Milano Rizzo moving around the ballpark this afternoon. Adrian Gonzalez in the top of the 5th against Jeff Francis. Slow curveball misses, ball 1. Adrian's 0 for 2 against Jeff today. Rockies put the shift on with Gonzalez leading off, no traffic. That's a base hit. The 7th hit allowed by Jeff in the ball game. Nick Hundley coming up. He's 0 for 1 and a walk. The Houston Astros have been anemic offensively. They put it on the hitting coach. They fired Sean Berry today, and they replaced him with Jeff Bagwell.
That's an organization that probably moves more people coaching-wise than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, a couple of years ago, Henry Spillman got fired. He was a pitching coach, Doug, that he was pitch coach at University of Oklahoma, and he went on to Philadelphia for Vern Rule.
Vern Rule.
The year before, the pitching staff wins an ERA title, most wins they'd had in a system for a while. The next year, 15 days into the season, they fired.
2-0. And Chassin's back up in the Rockies bullpen. With the Rockies getting back in it,
well,
it's going to be a short leash here in the 5th inning for Jeff if he continues to struggle.
Well, here's the other thing about it. Jim Tracy lives by a philosophy that he learned from Philippe Alou. And he really, he's pretty steady with it. If you have, let me see Chassin warming up. If you have traffic the first couple of innings, that's one thing. But to get into a bind like bases loaded in the 1st inning, a couple of men on, balls hit hard. Here's a foul ball down the left field line. But that 3rd time it happens, you're going to come out of the ball. You're not going to allow them to get into a jam that maybe he doesn't feel like they can get out of. It's just kind of a philosophy he's always had and stood by it. Something Mr. Alou taught him. Felipe, a very good manager.
Terrific manager and the mentor to Jim Tracy.
Well, here's the other thing about it, too. I asked Jimmy, I said, you know, most guys that Manny's like in L.A. for 5 or 6 years, you get tired of the media, big market and everything. He said, what was Philippe for you? Because you're so good to the media here. I said, what did Philippe teach you on that part of it? He said, everything. How to handle guys. See, what happens, too, in this part of the game, he's looking at a 3-2 ball game. Jeff's had some traffic, had some trouble. He's not looking at just Chassin bringing him in. He's also looking at, okay, who am I going to follow him up with? Who am I going to pinch hit first? He's 2 or 3 innings ahead of everything else that's going on in the game.
Yeah, and here's something else that changes, George, is that, you know, Chassin has been a starting pitcher. If you bring him in, it's now the 5th inning. You don't. You're bringing him in typically to pitch more than in an inning, but now with the Rockies rallying in that 4th inning, the pitcher spot is due up 3rd next inning. So again, I don't know this, but just playing along with Jim Tracy and watching him manage, in his perfect world, he gets Jeff Francis through the 5th inning. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Sure.
And then unless it's a bunting situation, he'll probably go to his bench here in the 5th.
Well, even if it is a bunting situation, he'll let Jeff bunt because he's very good.
No, that's what I mean.
Then you save your entire bench the whole time all the way through it. He doesn't want to bring Chassin in just to get out of this inning. Because quite honestly, Chassin's not a very good bunter.
That was a big pitch there, coming back and getting the strikeout on Nick Hundley. 1 out, and that'll bring up Hairston, who's 2 for 2.
Look at the Hyundai cam and watch Jeff come through on this big breaking ball. See that hard spin down? It starts so far away, and then right at the last second, just gets underneath the bat. A very good position for him to do it. 3rd one for Jeff in the ball game. Now, the other thing that's kind of helping him here, he's not. There's not a speedy guy at first base right now. And Gonzalez doesn't steal a lot of bases, if any, and so. You know, that kind of takes the running game out. The running game has hurt the Rockies early in the first 4 innings. Kind of really helps you focus if you're Jeff Francis. Really focus on your hitter now.
Yeah, Adrian's got a little league lead, and he's not going to try to expand that. One and one on Scott Hairston. Giants, by the way, leading 6-2 in the 9th in Washington. Fooled them there, 1-2. Got him to chase. Dodgers and Cubs tonight. But the Phils beating the Reds again 1-0.
Mm-hmm. St. Louis winning 4-2 right now.
Obviously, George, they've added a humidor in Philadelphia.
Oh, boy.
And another base hit for Scott Hairston. Wasn't hit real hard off the end of the bat, but they're 2 men on for Chase Headley. He's 0 for 10 in the series. Today's health report is brought to you by the Exemplis St. Joseph Cardiac and Vascular Institute. The most hearts, the most experience. Matt Daly is going to throw live batting practice this coming Friday, and then hopes to go out on a rehab assignment.
Where he's going is Corpus Christi last night, and he'll be in Tulsa on Thursday to make his back-to-back rehab with them in Tulsa with the Drillers.
Right, saw Matt leaving, packing his bag yesterday.
Yeah, heading out to go out and pitch in a couple of AA games. The reason behind that too is because they wanted to make sure he has warm, really extreme warm weather in Colorado Springs. It can get pretty chilly at night. You send him out right now. It's 97, 98 degrees right now.
One strike to count on Headley.
Yeah, you see Jim's pacing in the dugout right now, and it's much like he does in the 9th inning when it's time to make a decision, tough decision. You're flipping a coin. What's really kind of unusual about it, it's all the fans sitting in the stands and announcers and writers and everybody. The game up here goes pretty slow. Trying to make decisions. Down there, it's rapid fire because you're thinking of how it's going to affect the game, as we mentioned earlier, how it's going to affect the game down the road.
Jeff's going well, George.
Short, quick innings.
Quick innings, a lot of ground balls also. One right here would be very useful.
And today it seems like he's got a lot of fly ball outs. He had
the last couple starts, the ball's been up. It's been Bob Apodaca described. He said it's been fives to belt as opposed to around the knees. And Jeff, he's a finesse guy. He can't live around the belt.
Right.
And this is in the air down the right field line. It's in foul ground, and it's going to die there. To your point, Frazier, a moment ago, a lot of foul balls and lengthy at bats. 86 pitches in 4 1/3 innings. That's not Jeff Francis like.
I'm not sure what just blew out of your side over there. It's got a little wind here. Now, something went that way.
I hope it wasn't something I was supposed to read.
It went to the right. But it was low. It might have hung up over there.
I'll be right back, Fred.
Yeah, you're not getting on that rail walk anywhere.
2-2. And Headley hits a blooper to right, and it's a little better than a blooper. Spilborghs makes the catch. Adrian Gonzalez will move second to third. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Chris DeNorfia. And I hope that's good news, because DeNorfia is the one guy that has struggled with Jeff today. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Left 4 men on base while he's been up. Setting up for a double steal, and that's what Olivo's doing out in front of home plate, going through all the signs. Set up where Olivo may go with it. Fake to first, fake through, go to third. A lot of options. Let it go through, cut it off on the mound, or just step up and make a snap throw to third base.
There goes Hairston, and they're not going to throw through. Third stolen base. It's the Hairston brothers running wild. Jerry's got 1, Scott's got 2. And again, it makes it paramount here with what the Rockies have done. To get that third out without any further damage. Rockies get back in the ball game last inning. They're going to go ahead and pass on DeNorfia, even though he's 0 for 2, because Everett Cabrera, who has a base hit in this game, 1 for 2, has really struggled with the bat.
Well, and so what do you do as your manager sitting in the dugout? All right, let's walk the bases full, force it everywhere to try to get out of the inning. Or do I go ahead and let him face DeNorfia, and then what happens if he gets a hit? 2 runs are in, or in. The way that DeNorfia's been swinging the bat lately, much better than Cabrera. The only thing I'd probably do different here is tell Jeff, if he wants to, you can go to the windup with 2 outs. Whatever position you're most comfortable in, whether it's out of the stretch or out of the windup.
Ball 1.
And the Padres, a lot of success this year with the bases loaded. 388 team average. Cabrera 1 for 4.
On the corner, 1-1. Two and one. Why would he, you know, a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher is always in the stretch. A starting pitcher, why in this situation, George, would he pick the stretch?
Because he's been, I think, a lot of guys because they're comfortable in it now because they've had to face 3 or 4 hitters.
He's been in it, unfortunately,
right.
Most of the day.
Right. And I think that some guys feel better just hitting that balance point, staying on.
Yeah, knocked down by Francis. He's going to get out of it. Thankfully, Jeff has a little bit of a hockey background. I don't know if he got leather or a leg, but he prevents the Padres from scoring in the 5th. They leave them loaded. They've left 8 on in 5 innings. It's a 1-run ball game. And the Rockies will begin things with Ian Stewart out of the 7-hole. He grounded to second his first time up, and this ball's laced to center field. But it's going to be grabbed by Chris Denorfia. Much better passing the second time through for the Rockies. Time for our Mako Big Hit of the Week. You have a lot of choices this week. We'll take the grand slam off the bat of Ian Stewart to provide the Rockies with a 10-8 margin of victory on Friday night against San Diego. Our Mako Big Hit of the Week. Clint Barmas is at the plate, and in the on-deck circle, Brad Hopp. It appears Brad will pinch hit for Jeff Francis. And Chassin has been up twice, will be into the ball game. This pop foul, but it worked out, though. There were some edge of your seat moments in the 5th inning, but Jim Tracy elected to send Jeff Francis back out, hoping to get a clean inning and then go to his bench and keep it a 1-run game. And ultimately, Jeff was able to do that.
Well, with a little bit of luck. There was 2 balls hit hard right back up the middle. One and resulted in a double play with the bases loaded. The last, Jeff, because he does do a good job of squaring up to the plate, was able to make a play on that ball. The Cabrera hit hard.
And by the way, he did get, we watched the replay during the break, George. He got leather on that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, leather on it. And, you know, I'm sure right now when you see Jeff put his head down and start thinking through, he's thinking through the game of what went right, what went wrong, what am I doing wrong, to try to correct all those things.
3-2 on Barmas. Clint on 4 times last night. You're like me on that foul ball. You didn't see it, did you?
I thought it was on the plane out. on the grass area and behind home plate.
Yeah, initially I did too, and you and I are searching the sky for the baseball.
Well, and I tell you something, what the outfielders are going to go through.
Ball 4, so Garmis, so 1-out walk. And here comes Brad Hopp. Hey, you looking to save energy and money? Aren't we all? Find out how the little changes add up at TogetherWeSave.com, your local Touchstone Energy cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more.
Hopp 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI. Two guys he goes to an awful lot: Smith, Billboards, Giambi.
Want to know on Brad. One ball, 1 strike.
It's amazing. Seth Smith has 11 pinch hit RBIs. 11. 2 home runs.
That's called a strike. He's the best in the game. Late in ball games off the bench. He's established that the last couple of years. And there's some good ones. Padres have a good one in Matt Stairs. Here's the 1-2. And Brad drives in left center field. Roll, baby, roll. Here's Garvis around third. He'll come home and tie up the game. Brad Hopp coming through off the bench. All even at 3.
Have you Brad Hopp 2 for 7 now with a couple of RBIs coming off of the bench. Continued to work him away, never came inside, and he dropped down on a ball and put it out on that outer half of the plate. Hopp didn't try to do a whole lot with it. 70th pitch of the game, Hopp just stays behind and drives to the opposite field. You can see the rotation of his shoulders and the way he tilted the bat into that area to make the ball go into left field instead of trying to hook it. Then he's just off to the races for Clint Farmers. Good job, Brad Hopp.
Here's Dexter Fowler. Dexter 0 for 1, walked last inning and scored. And this is boxed by Hundley. I don't know if he was crossed up, but that's a big misconnection there. Is now Hopp. The go-ahead run is at third base with 1 out.
Well, he's out there pretty quick to make sure with a runner at second base of what the signs are going to be. Let's look at this on the Hyundai cam. You're going to see how he's sitting down low. I guarantee you he was looking for a breaking ball because that ball hit completely off the heel of the glove.
Scored a pass ball.
Should have been.
That's when you go out to the mound anyhow, George. Even if you didn't get crossed up, let everybody believe you did. Fouled off. How about the White Sox? You see that score? How good have they been the last month?
24 of 29. This will make 25 of 30 that they have won. The last 30 ball games. That's how good they've been.
Infield in. Pitch out, nothing on.
You know, there's a lot of talk that they're going to trade Quinton, they're going to trade Konerko and all that. All of a sudden they got on this hot streak. They're not trading anybody.
And Kenny Williams isn't firing Ozzie again this summer.
No, not yet.
Here's the squeeze, and Dexter couldn't quite get it in play.
Really a good time to pull it, too, because once they've already pitched out, you're thinking, okay, they're not going to run a squeeze right now. You know, they're just not going to do it. And then that's a really good time to try to pull it off because everybody's coming. They don't think you are, even though at third base you can see where Headley's trying to walk in with the runner. That's what you're supposed to do at third. Dexter had his chance, and that ball had a lot of tilt and movement.
You know, you have two very bright managers. And they know the game well. They know each other well. Bud Black knows that Jim Tracy likes to squeeze. Swung on a miss by Fowler. 2 outs. That'll bring up Johnny Herrera. And Jim Tracy knows that, hey, he's got a guy who can bunt up there, a guy who's been scuffling just the last couple of days a little bit at the plate, even though earlier in the week he was terrific, couldn't get him out.
Well, it's a part of being the ultimate surprise. Is he going to do it this time? Pitch out. Nah, he's not going to do it now. Then you do it.
Well, Jonathan Herrera, so many big hits. Can he get a 2-out knock and give the Rockies the lead? Inside, ball 1. And you know Richard wants to bear down right here on Herrera. He doesn't want to have anything to do with the guy on deck, Carlos Gonzalez. And Johnny, who typically doesn't swing until he has a strike, fires at that pitch. It's 1-1.
Now, see, that to me, that's part of the coaching where Baylor comes in. It's not in the cage, not on a tee. It's the mental side of it. You're starting to get a reputation, you're starting to notice you're not firing at very first
ground
pitch.
ball to first, and Gonzalez comes up with it. He hit it pretty hard. Rockies get the equalizer. It's Brad Hopp coming through. 3-3. Quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. The All-Star break begins as soon as this one concludes. And then the Rockies will begin a very important, they're all important, but a lengthy road trip. They're going to see 3 good teams, 11 games, Cincinnati, Florida, Philadelphia. Today's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast, digital home phone service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Yolis Chassin's first pitch to Clayton Richard misses ball 1. Top of inning number 6. We're tied at 3. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo.
15th game he's pitched in this year. And again, all of this has been starting. Done a very good job of that. He's had a couple of times he's ran out of the bullpen. 2 games against them, 2 innings. 450 earned run average. 2 innings thrown against San Diego. We're just trying to buy a little time to get that offense back in the dugout.
To answer the AT&T trivia question, we asked you earlier who has the all-time highest fielding percentage in baseball history. The Padres are having a good year at .990. Well, the Rockies set the record in the '07 season with a .989 fielding percentage. George, let me ask you something. We were talking about this downstairs, Bob Apodaca, Tom Runnels in the clubhouse before the ball game. Is this a situation right now, this year? I mean, it seems like every other day we're talking about somebody throwing a no-hitter or carrying a perfect game into the 8th inning, that type of thing. Is this a situation where, you know, it's one of those years, or are we in an era that's beginning where there's a lot of great young arms? Just like you see in basketball, all of a sudden there's a number of really good big men, for instance.
I think Pitching's better. I think the defense is better. Guys are making plays. There's more preached now to try to find contact versus avoid contact. And I honestly,
but are there more?
Sad as it is, I think too that part of it was in baseball. There's testing now. I mean, let's be honest, there is.
But also with and that's very true. I agree with you 100%. Here's the 2-1 on Hairston. And slowly hit ball. Tough chance. Barnes, man, like a vacuum. That was one of those in-between hops he plucked with one hand. You got to come and get it.
You have to do it. I think that's something that you recognize early when this ball's hit, that you're going to have to sprint to the baseball as much as you can and trust your hands. Trust that you're going to catch this baseball. When he comes in, he catches right on a little short hop, and then it's a running throw right on the money to Elder.
And he makes the transition, George. Glove to hand as good as anybody in the middle of the infield in the game.
When he turns double play balls.
It's a good pitch, too.
Well, you know what? What this does is get the offense back in the dugout and do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, in 7 pitches. Well done, Yoli Chassin. 3-3 game. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cargo will lead it off. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. One of the most exciting plays in baseball, the triple. Jonathan Herrera got thrown out trying to stretch a double to a triple yesterday. Today he got a triple that scored Dexter Fowler. The Frostbrewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. Rockies will have the middle of the order, 3, 4, and 5 to face Clayton Richard here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Rockies spotted the Padres 3-0, and they've caught him. Cargo an RBI hit in the 4th inning. He has 59 RBIs, 17 home runs, and a .313 batting average. If he duplicates this first half, we have every reason to believe he will, maybe even exceed it with his gifts and his work ethic. As George mentioned earlier, Tracy and I were discussing this this morning. You're talking about a very viable MVP candidate.
Spain won. Is that right, Doug? They got to play 3 more minutes, but Spain scored.
In extra time. Whoa, that get him?
Nope. Trying to make a little point here. I think he's had some really good swings on the Padres, and I just think they're trying to pound this heater inside. Typically, you see that type. Typically, you see that type of pitch early in a count, not on a 2-0 count.
I thought it was a Ron Hunt hit by pitch, George. You know, Ron used to go up there with jersey 8 sizes too big.
Wore a 36 coat and wore a 50 jersey.
And not close. So Gonzalez to first. with nobody out. Only 6 days left for the Boys and Girls Club Rocky Mountain Raffle second prize drawing. $5,000 on the line. Make sure you sign up by next Friday at RockyMountainRaffle.com.
West Philly with a couple of ground balls resulted in outs. Hit second base. The last being a double play ball in the fourth.
Remember this number, George. I'm going to give it to you in a moment. I'll give it to you right now. 16.
16. Frank Viola?
Not your old teammate. Number of walks for Carlos Gonzalez in the first half of the season with that walk right there in 324 at bats. That number is going to be much higher in the second half.
Intentionally.
Yes. This ball is hit well right center field. And it's going to die just shy of the track. Gonzalez is going to move up. That's great base running.
Well, smart base running.
Went back and tagged up and now in scoring position.
Very common here at Coors Field. You get a ball into right center and left center and you're at first base with any type of speed. You make that move to get to second base. But I also think Cunningham almost messed that up in right field. As the ball was approaching, he had to move back about 3 steps really quick.
Do you think he felt Denorfia or what happened?
No, I just think he didn't think it was hit that far. Denorfia's 25 feet away from him. Wind at Coors Field, minimal, but it is blowing. Typically it blows right at that bullpen area.
Miguel Olivo doubled in his last at bat. Outside ball 1. Miguel 7 for his last 14. He's got a 4-game hitting streak, leading all big league catchers in batting average at .319. Unfortunately, not an all-star, nor is the guy at second base. And that is a base hit. Gonzalez coming to the plate. Here's the throw by Cunningham offline. Miguel's going to move up. Rockies lead it 4-3.
This is what this offense does. I mean, you just give them an inch and they take a mile. You walk Gonzalez to lead off the inning, fly ball to right. Gonzalez advances, and then all of a sudden on the Hyundai cam, you're trying to paint a heater down and away from him. And Olivo does a great job of just staying on the pitch. And Cunningham threw a slider to home plate that missed miserably.
Watch Cargo run the bases.
Well, the smartest thing he did there is he just picks up Richie Dower and then just follows on his direction from then on. So many guys want to look over the shoulder to see if it's where the throw is, what's happening in the game behind him.
Good base running by Olivo. He's out there for Brad Eldred with 1 out. Eldred leans on one to left, but he got it in the middle of the bat. And Hairston makes the catch. 2 outs. Miguel Olivo came into the season a career .243 hitter. Last year he hit .249 with 23 home runs, 65 driven in for the Royals. And he's hitting above .320. Jim Tracy was discussing that earlier today. He said all you need to know as to why he's hitting 60, 70 points above his career mark is all the hard work he's put in. And look how many times you've seen him go to right center field this year, where he was just a dead pull hitter in the past. Case in point, the base hit a moment ago.
He's managing himself very well.
Why can't
recognizing where guys are going to throw him in certain situations.
And you know what, George, and you know this, you played a long time at this level. Where's it written just because you establish yourself as, okay, I'm going to be in the big leagues, where's it written you can't get better at this level?
Well, that's funny because a lot of old scouts said, you know what, you go in and see them in April, they don't play very well. Go back in March, you watch them again, you know what, guys get better, they practice, they get better. Players do get better. They don't level off, they get better.
One and one on Stewart. Hit the ball hard his last time up to center field. That one's into the seats, foul. 1 and 2 as we take a look at the Amica hit zone on Stewart. It's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated.
Well, this is coming in from a right-hander here. It's more that back foot slider. Now, when they elevate the ball up above his hands, either side, it seems to swing best here. This outside corner here, there's more sliders from left-handers. Try to keep the ball away from him.
Good eye. You know, George, a week ago, he, you know, when you're not
Fires
going
away.
well, you fire at that pitch, right?
Get antsy, yeah, it's like anybody else. I mean, from 12 years old on up, that's what happens when you start to struggle.
Rockies with 4 runs in the last 3 innings after not getting a base runner the first 3 innings against Richard. They have a 4-3 lead. Stewart has gotten hit a couple times in the last 10 days. He wore one on the elbow a while ago, and that one, you could hear that hit the ribs way up in the stands.
Well, the thing you worry about, particularly with a hard thrower, is you don't break something. He's going to try to get out of the way of it by jumping straight in the air and trying to go back versus roll.
I think it didn't get the ribs, George. Maybe the back of the upper arm. Or
that's when the hitter says, you know, when he comes up, would you just let me pitch?
I got this one. Clint Barmes will be at the plate. Randy Flores is throwing. Let's take a look at our Quest high speed pitch. Clayton Richard has hit 95 several times. Jeff Francis topped out at 90. It's brought to you by Quest, the high speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. 2 on with 2 outs. Rockies ahead 4-3. Clint Barmes, a strikeout in the 3rd, a walk and a run scored last inning. 2 for 2. A couple of walks last night for Barmes. Barmes hitting .314 so far in the month of July after hitting .313 in June. And this year against the Padres, he's hitting .324. A couple of home runs. He's driven in 12 against San Diego this year. Here's another note that's applicable right now to Barmes. After some tough sledding in April and May, he's 11 for his last 28 with runners in scoring position. He's got a guy out there right now, Miguel Oliva. Outfield straight up for Barmes. Here's the 0-1. There's something else with the Rockies now having a 4-3 lead, George, with 9 outs to go. See Flores warming up. You have Chacin in the ball game. Remember, folks, Houston Street is not available. And typically, in these situations, Jim Tracy will mix and match in a 9th inning. He doesn't like to remove a bunch of players from their role in the bullpen. In other words, you won't see Betancourt all of a sudden slide to the 9th.
Yeah, or Belisle. Belisle's the guy he'll use in the 9th along with Beimel. He'll get it mixed that way. Right now you got the left-hander warming up, Randy Flores, and you also have the right-hander. Matt Belisle starting to throw down on the bullpen.
And you got Chacin on deck. It's 3-2 on Barmes. Runners will be moving. You have a 4-3 lead. Chacin had a great inning last inning. What do you do if you're Jim Tracy and Barmes walks here?
You put somebody up and let him swing the bat.
It is a base hit to right. Oliva will score. Stewart around 3rd will get the stop sign. Broken bat, base hit for Barmes, 5-3. And now with the 2-run advantage, Chacin will be allowed to hit. Told you those numbers with runners in scoring position. Wasn't pretty, but it got the job done.
Well, it doesn't have to be pretty. You're right. Just get the job done and out over the head of Gonzalez. You'll see this pitch away from him. Clint actually did a pretty nice job positioning the lower half to get to this pitch to do some damage with it. Gonzalez, anything hit around him, he's going to catch it. Range of trying to go back to get to the ball, not necessarily the fastest guy in baseball. Bud Black's going to his bullpen with a couple of outs. Runners at first and third, and the Rockies on top in this ball game. 5-3 as Gregerson comes in.
Well, things didn't get going for the Rockies offense until the fourth inning. Jonathan Herrera, a triple to right. Dexter Fowler, who had walked, comes around to score. And then the next batter's Carlos Gonzalez. And he lines a single left center field to make it 3-2. Fifth inning, Brad Hopp pinch hitting for Jeff Francis. Behind in the count, he lines a double to left center field to bring around Clint Barmas, who had walked. And then earlier this inning, Miguel Olivo, opposite field base hit to give the Rockies a 4-3 lead. Cargo comes around. And a moment ago, Clint Barmas, bloop single. Rockies up 5-3. Cooney Lexus, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address.
I know the pitcher's hitting seventh. It's next time he comes up.
This is a base hit for Chassin. And the Rockies have another run.
Chassin, not a lot of at-bats and has not had a ton of success as a hitter. I think it's his second hit.
He's 2 for 23.
Yeah, 2 for 23 right now for Chassin. First RBI he's delivered this year. Fastball that stayed up right in the heart of the strike zone. Tries a little bit surprised. Bud Black went out and switched it. Chacin's going, man, I got a hit. Second one. I got an RBI. That's a pretty good day.
How about that? And that's RBI number 1 for Yoeli Chassin in his career. Outside on Dexter Fowler. Rockies have turned this game around. They're up 6-3. Barmas at third, Chassin at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. I like that approach by Chassin. He ambushed him, George.
Yeah, he got a fastball and hit it. 42nd game. Gregerson has been outstanding all year. Had a couple of hiccups here towards field. It continues with the hit by Chassin. 19 holes. ERA at 3.00.
This is pulled foul. George, how unusual is it? Gregerson against the lefty here. He is pitching off the extreme first base side of the rubber. You don't see it much from the right.
Well, you don't see much of it, I guess, to the right side, I should say. You're talking about left side, but I'm talking about right side because the philosophies have changed the last 3 or 4 years. Pitch to where you're comfortable. And the reason he's all the way on the first base side is because he can get his fastball from his arm angle, which is a low 3/4, that he can get his arm into that inside to the left-hander.
Denorfia makes the catch. That ends the 6th inning. The Rockies send 8 to the plate. They score 3 times. And Yoli Chacin enjoying his first career RBI. 6-3 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by Steel and your local Steel dealers. For a location near you, visit steeldealers.com. By King Soopers, our people make the difference. By the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Well, Clayton Richard was outstanding the first 3 innings. He had a perfect game going to the 4th. The Rockies now have a 6-3 lead. Yolis Chacin a chance to get a victory here in relief of Jeff Francis. Jeff went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs. Adrian Gonzalez swings at the first pitch. Fowler coming on, won't be able to get there. Gonzalez will throw it back in, and it's a leadoff single for Adrian.
Let me mention something about the Rock-Hands Conference Center. It's a great place for game day and non-game day events. Pick up the phone, call the Rockies, reserve it. Great time in the off-season to have an office party. You can handle 25 to 200. 303 Rockies or ColoradoRockies.com.
Nick Hundley at the plate, 0 for 2 and a walk. And that pitch in there for a strike. Clayton Richard goes 5 2/3. Gives up 6 runs on 6 hits, walked 3, struck out 3. Also hit a batter. Hundley behind 0 2. Chacin averages better than a strikeout per inning pitch.
And a big reason behind that, he's gotten total command and trust of the 2 breaking balls, slow hook and a hard slider. The changeup has always been there. So all that confidence results in a little better fastball and better command.
And George, better than 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which is another thing that you like to glance at.
Well, why give away free hits, free base runners?
0-2 the count on Hundley. See you later. I like how Jim Tracy described the stuff of Yolis Chacin early in the season. He said if he gets ahead, he's got wipeout secondary stuff.
Well, he does. This is the hard slider, and it stayed there. And then, he's going to think that pitch is low because of the way it was caught. Did you look at that Hitchcock behind the plate? Watch this. Can we get a shot of him back there? The home plate umpire. Well, from center field, it looks like. It looks kind of like a Star Wars guy with the mask. Look at this. Watch. Show it in a minute.
Darth Vader.
There, yeah, I mean, I looked down and I was like, holy cow. I mean, I've seen, obviously, his mask, but this one, like, lights up on. And see? Look, now tell me, doesn't that look like one? Doug, just agree.
We agree, George.
That's $3.
Scott Hairston with a 1-0 count. Scott's 3 for 3 in the ball game. He also has a couple stolen bases. Gonzalez at first, 1 out. On the corner, 1-1. Top of inning number 7. The Rockies up 6-3. That's in there. Hairston jumped away, but was on the inside corner at 94. Flores and Belisle tossing in the Rockies bullpen.
Well, it's about the time you start to see the frustration that a couple more at bats by this visiting team. That you know, they come in with a 3-game lead and they're going to walk out tied if the game continues to be just like it is. That's where you start to see a little of that frustration by their hitters.
Jim Tracy before the ball game said, "Hey, it's been a great homestand." Jim has an interesting way of describing things, and he said this last night. He said, "We are very interested in winning tomorrow's ball game also." But he knows, and he stated this, either way, whatever the outcome of this Sunday afternoon game, the Rockies are in a great place heading into the second half. This is another broken bat floater that's going to drop. That's 3 of 4 hits today for Scott Hairston, where he gave up a bat for a hit, and he'll do it every day. He's 4 for 4. 2 on and 1 out for Chase Headley as we check in with Alana for today's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Quickly wanted to tell you what Yolis Chassin told me about the 2 reasons he feels he's been most successful on the Hill. Number 1, the fact that he played with a lot of these same guys in the minor leagues. Not as long as some of these other guys have played together, but the fact that he had that, team building in the minor leagues that he's really felt has translated here. Again, the same theme we've talked about over and over, the family theme. Also, his work with Ubaldo Jimenez, 2 very different types of pitchers, but the fact, of course, the language situation where they can communicate effectively. He said learning from him and just sitting back and watching him has been unbelievably helpful, guys.
A lot of good influences in that clubhouse. So Chassin walks off. They give way to Randy Flores. 1 out in the 7th. Touchstone Energy Cooperative to remind you to adjust your thermostat and start feeling the savings. Visit togetherwesave.com. Houston Streets 5 for 5 in save opportunities. He saved Friday, and he had saved last night. Street will not get a save today. He's not available. No matter what he wants to do, 4 straight days of work. Jim Tracy and said, Houston Street, your All-Star break will start a day early. Randy Flores with 1 out and 2 on face Chase Headley. So the Rockies, as they've done, George, all series long, will flip Headley to his weaker side, the right side.
Take away his power, take away the ability to hit the ball hard. 11 strikeouts, 8 walks in 20 in the third innings. 36 game for Randy to appear in.
Chacin, in all likelihood, the pitcher of record on the plus side for the Rockies. Clayton Richard on the losing side for the Padres. Ripped fair down the line. That will score Gonzalez. Hairston around third is going to score, and it's going to be a one-run game. First hit of the series for Chase Headley, a 2-run double to make it 6-5, and here come the Padres.
Well, unfortunately, Chacin's going to have to wear those 2 runs. It's a ball down and in on the inner part. You can see that on the 4th strike zone. And he just pulls it, just jerks it right down the line. That's the danger of that slider. If you don't get it under the bat, this is where it's going to come after you. Gonzalez can trot home. Hairston can fly. He had the gut there. Scotty did. Scored a 2nd run.
Matt Belisle will come on. We'll be back. Coming up, let's take a look at our Breaks Plus poll of the ball game. Will you watch the All-Star game? 91% love the Midsummer Classic. I'm with all of you. Matt Belisle against Denorfia, and that's fouled off.
Belisle, nice job the other night in the ball game. It's a nice job all year long. A lot of innings thrown by Matt Belisle this year.
Books closed on Chacin. He gets painted a little bit. An inning and a third, gives up 2 runs on 2 hits. Didn't walk a batter, struck out 1.
53 innings by Matt Belisle. Top 5 of anybody in baseball right now. Working out of the bullpen. Did you know this little known fact, Mr. Goodman? It's getting a little dark here because you have overcast skies right now at the ballpark. So as you can tell, it's obviously not as bright as it was the first part of the game. But you can't turn the lights on in the middle of an inning.
In the air to center field, Fowler will make the catch. Tagging and moving up is Chase Headley. Everett Cabrera will come up. and you pass on him and get Luke Gregerson out of the game, George.
Absolutely. And that's the best right-hander they got working out of their bullpen. Thatcher's warming up down in the bullpen. The only left-hander they have in the bullpen. Unless they move one of the left-handed starters down there. Both those have been back-to-back. So.
And the Rockies are going to pitch to Cabrera. With Headley at third. 2 outs. And Colorado leading 6-5.
Well, last time, similar situation. If pitched to Cabrera and he hit it right back at Jeff Francis, made a nice play on the baseball. Now, Jeff Francis' record may not indicate it, but going into today, I mean, Jeff's record was 2-3. The ball club is 6-4 in his 10 starts. Could be a 7-4. Stop for the right hand. Warming up for the Padres, pitched an inning and struck out 2.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2. Mahika and Stauffer. Managers can work a ball game a little differently with their bullpen when it's right up against the All-Star break. Everybody's going to get 3-4 days of rest unless the guy's going to the All-Star game. And in the case of the Padres, Heath Bell's going to the All-Star game, but he hasn't worked the last couple of days. That's not at all an issue today for Bell. So you could do some things a little bit differently, knowing that everybody's going to have a lot of time off. Two-strike count on Cabrera. Belisle trying to put the inning down. Got it with high heat. In the inning, San Diego edges closer. They picked off 2 runs on a Chase Headley double. But the Rockies lead at 6-5. Stretch time at Coors Field. The Rockies leading the Padres as we take a look at the Comcast game summary. Rockies trailed 3-0. Clayton Richard was perfect for the first 9 outs. Then the Rockies got 2 in the 4th, added a run in the 5th on a Brad Hopp double, and then 3 in the 6th to take a 6-3 lead. But San Diego scored 2 last inning on a Chase Headley double. Padres with 11 hits, the Rockies 7, bottom of the 7th inning. Johnny Herrera, Carlos Gonzalez, Ryan Spilborghs to face Luke Gregerson.
You know what, this, and I think what the complaint's going to be, and I don't know the whole story about it, but you can't, that's what he's complaining about. You can't turn the lights on. I think both teams have to go on both sides of it. So they hit with them on. You can only flip them at the half inning. His complaint is, why do they have those on now and flipped it, and then you didn't wait and make the Rockies hit under the same conditions and flipped them on here because they played the half inning. You can't turn them on during the inning.
It wasn't Bud Black arguing, it was Jerry Hairston, who's one of the senior members of the Padres. One of the leaders of the club, along with Matt Stairs. Johnny Herrera against Luke Gregerson. Gregerson worked a third of an inning on Friday. The Rockies got a couple of runs off him. He faced 2 hitters in the 6th, one of them being Yoli Chacin. His first pitch was lined to center field for an RBI hit for Chacin to make it 6-3. That's the difference in the game right now. The RBI by Chacin. And it's 2-0 on Jonathan Herrera. Taken all the way, it's 2-1.
You see quite a difference right now in the field as far as the light, the lights here at the ballpark. Obviously brightening things up.
And Herrera got the attention of Headley, did not off-rat it. It's 3-1. This is where Jonathan will typically take another strike. And it's ball 4. So the Rockies get the leadoff man on again. 3 of the last 4 innings they've got the leadoff man on. It's time for our job done right player of the series. How about Cargo? 5 for 10, a couple of home runs, 4 ribbies in the series. Lately, good to him every series. The defense, the running ability. Player of the series presented by the Colorado Association of Mechanical and Plumbing Contractors. To have your next building or service project done right the first time, visit jobdoneright.org. Herrera at first, Cargo at the plate. 1 for 2 and a walk. He's driven 1 in, and he scored a run. Rockies trying to add on. Something they have been very adept at in this homestand, especially late in ball games. A trouble spot for 2.5 to 3 months, not here in the month of July. George, Gregerson has missed, and in this series he's missed a lot. He hasn't been close.
Well, that's the whole thing. He's trying to get people to chase balls out of the strike zone. And you look back at what he's done, 42 innings. He's only walked 8 batters, make it 9 now, and 52 strikeouts. So he's termed a strike thrower and a guy that can strike people out, yet he can also get you the ground ball double play. He throws a hard sinker to go around with a pretty good slider.
Let's do a hard sinker to Adrian Gonzalez. League hitting less than 160 against Gregerson this year. A large part of the success of the Padres, not only this season, but going back to the last couple of months of 2009. This ball is pulled to first, fair ball, tag play at second, and there's your double play. 3-6. And that'll bring up Spilborghs.
He got a very good first baseman, and Adrian Gonzalez, he catch it right over the top of the bag, quick tag, and then a snap throw down to shortstop. Johnny trying to get a slide in it and try to avoid things. Gonzalez saw that quick out of the box. He's not happy. Shattered that back.
Spilborghs is 0 for 3. Ground ball to short. Ran into a 6-4-3 double play and then flew out to deep right center field. Spilborghs starting in the cleanup spot today for the 5th time. And the Rockies, as a club, are 4-0 in his 4 previous starts in the cleanup spot. Two and 0. Two balls and a strike. Fix your windshield. Call SafeLight Elite Auto Glass. 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com. And Gregerson strikes out Spilborghs. So after a leadoff walk to Herrera, it still turns into a 1-2-3 inning. We turn the page to inning number 8. The Rockies 6 and the Padres 5. Top of the 8th inning. Rockies trying to match their best 10-game homestand ever by going 9-1. They can hold on here, though, be in a tie for first place with the Padres heading into the All-Star break. 9-1-2 for Matt Belisle in the 8th inning. Tony Gwynn will be the pinch hitter for Gregerson. So Gwynn will hit, and then it's Jerry Hairston Jr. and Aaron Cunningham. He's been nursing a sore heel. We've seen him now 3 times in the series with this appearance. All as a pinch hitter. He's 1 for 2. Fastball right there for a strike. Belisle got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning. And he throws that slider underneath the hands. 0-2. Matt taking his time. Here's the 0-2. And nearly got Gwynn to offer at it. 1-2. Since Belisle returned to the big leagues last year in September after a 2-month stint in Colorado Springs, he's 6-3 with 1 save and a .247 ERA. He's walked just 10 and he struck out 65 in 49 appearances. And the opposition during that time has hit .223. That's at 242 at bats. That's outstanding. And he ties up Gwynn and Knox. 1 out in the 8th inning. Second strikeout for Matt. Tonight on Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy at 9. Colorado welcomes back Jorge De La Rosa. Meet the newest Rocky filling in for Todd Helton. His name's Brad Eldred. And, of course, we'll sit down with Jim Tracy, talk about Carlos Gonzalez, talk about how he'll handle the All-Star break, and other topics with the Rockies engaging skipper. That's tonight on Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. And this is going to find a hole. Jerry Hairston and Scott Hairston, the brothers Hairston today, are 7 for 9. And we can look back, and I guarantee you, of the 7 hits, 6 are broken bat singles.
Let's look at this one more pitch on the Hyundai cam. I'd agree with you, Drew. There hadn't been a ball hit hard. Late running sinker got out underneath the label and able to push it through the right side. That's out of the reach of Johnny Herrera. Out to Spilborghs.
Aaron Cunningham has been a tough out of late. He's got a 10-game hitting streak, doubled in a run back in the 2nd. Olivo bluffed to throw. And this is line to right field. Spilborghs can't get it. Fowler will back up. It's going to be 2nd and 3rd. Cunningham another double. And now you have the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position for Adrian Gonzalez. Bible's been warming.
I can't imagine with 1 out Tracy not going and getting him, but the other thing he may do is go ahead and walk him and then let him pitch to coming up behind Gonzalez, Nick Hunley. Just off the end of the bat again. Not a ball hit very hard. Spilly's giving a hard try on this baseball. Dives. Comes up a little bit short on the ball. Dexter has to go back and retreat and get to the ball. But now you get 2nd and 3rd. They will walk Gonzalez.
This is the Padres all year. They've been persistent. And they've been relentless. They don't go away. They have 13 hits in the ballgame. They trail 6-5. Bases are loaded, 1 out. And Matt Belisle, before he throws his next pitch, will converse with Bob Apodaca.
All righty, let's talk a little bit about the Rockies dugout stores. Have everything you need to get geared up for the summer, and even more, a lot of Rockies gear to get geared up for coming to the ballpark. Find out where your local dugout store is closest to you. 303-832-TEAM.
Nick Hundley will be coming up. Nick walked in the 1st, and since that time, a ground ball to 1st and a couple of strikeouts. Wind really starting to blow. It's blowing in from left to right now. The tying run, Jerry Hairston at third, has good speed. Aaron Cunningham has good speed. The runner at second, the potential go-ahead run.
Well, in opportunities with men in scoring position, he's at 316 this year. Good fastball hitter, very upright stance, so he's a very good high ball hitter also. Keeps the ball down. Against Bilal. Hundley 0 for 5.
Both of these next two hitters, Scott Hairston behind Hundley, will strike out some. Once every 4 at bats or so. Now Levo is going to get together, make sure he's on the same page with Bilal. Obama on the left side, Manuel Corpus on the right side. Again, no Houston Street in this ball game. It's worked the last 4 days. Rockies clinging to a 1-run lead. It was a 3-run lead entering last inning. Padres got 2. They have the bases loaded right now. Ground ball. Bilal throws it away. Tie ball game, and now they're going to take the lead. Matt Bilal made the hard play and then rushed his throw, George. He had time. He had plenty of time, and he rushed his throw at 7-6 San Diego.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of times on a pitcher's mound, you know, you hear the old crow hop, get balanced, do all those things before you throw the baseball. Well, this was one of those instances. Ball's hit right back at him. Nice catch on the ball, then an off-balance sidearm snap throw. But he had plenty of time to square up. The most important out you're thinking about is the lead runner. He tried to think about making sure they had the ability to turn a double play ball. You watch Olivo come out. He's going to get his foot out in front, and then the ball's, you know, he didn't square over it, but it was so far off, he didn't have a shot to catch it.
A very costly error. And now the Rockies trail at 7-6. A good solid throw there, George, and I think they're able to turn 2.
Oh, there's no question there is. But I think in his mind, he's thinking, I got to get rid of it really quick in order to have a chance to even do it.
Hairston's 4 for 4. And that's foul. Thank goodness for the win, because that would have been the 5th blue pit of the game for Scott Hairston.
You are absolutely right.
Now you start looking ahead at the Rockies offense. They'll have Olivo, Eldred, and Stewart.
They're more likely going to get Giambi at some point for Eldred, because they don't have the one left-hander down in the bullpen. And if he's not up throwing, it's a good indication Jim Tracy, you know, he's not going to be out there, so run Giambi for that one shot to get it. Hops already pinch hit, driven one in. They also have Seth Smith still on the bench, along with Iannetta and Moore.
You know, the amazing thing, George, about pitchers, and virtually all of them are this way. You watch comebackers, and when they have to throw to first, they run it over there and go underhand. I mean, the only guy I can think of in a Rockies uniform that doesn't do that is Jimenez. Ground ball to short, should be 2. There's 1, there's 2. But the Rockies give up 2, and they trail at 7-6 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Colorado Rockies home run, making it 4-0 at the time. The Rockies would win 4-2. Now the Rockies trail 7-6 now as you look at the Comcast game summary. 2 unearned runs against Matt Belisle in the 8th inning, but it was on Matt as he was unable to make that throw to the plate. And 2 runs come around, so the Rockies will have to do what they've done all week. They'll have to rally late in the ball game, and they'll have to rally against 2 very good relievers. Michael Adams here in the 8th, and if it's still a situation where San Diego's leading, they'll get the all-star Heath Bell in the 9th.
Yeah, it's starting to rain pretty good here at Coors Field. A lot of wind. You can see the number on Adams. His 42nd appearance for him. Very good record. The opposition hasn't done much against him at all. 181.
And that's a good start. That's a base hit up the middle for Miguel Olivo, his 3rd knock of the ball game. Tying runners aboard with speed. And we were thinking, well, maybe it would be Jason Giambi to hit for Brad Eldred, with the only left-hander available, Joe Thatcher, down in the bullpen, but Thatcher hasn't been throwing. Tracy's going to hold back Giambi. Brad Eldred will hit.
And the 21 holes for him leads the National Leagues. Talking about Adams, he was going that good in the bullpen.
Well, the story of the Padres season hasn't been about offense, other than Adrian Gonzalez. It's been all about, Matt Latos, pretty good starting pitching beyond Latos, and then Gregerson, Adams, and Bell. Oh, 2 on Eldred. 0 for 3 today. Towering fly ball to right field. And Olivo, for a second,
thought about it.
He tagged up, and he made sure that throw was on line by Aaron Cunningham.
Well, you want to see how the ball's caught, first of all. If he catches it out in front of his head, then it's going to be an easy transition. If he catches it going backwards and his gloves on top of his head or behind his head, then he's going to take more time for him to get it in. Watch Olivo on the bottom of your screen. See, he's watching, so see where he floats to. See, he caught that ball right out over his head and on the shoulder, so he's going to have an easy transition to get the ball back in.
Ian Stewart, ground ball to second, a line out, and he was hit by a pitch. He takes ball 1. Stewart's had a big week. He's had some big moments this week. The grand slam in the bottom of the 7th a couple of days ago. Eight for 21 on the homestand. "26 runs late in ball games on this homestand." And
that's out in the Mountain Ranch Club.
That would have provided the Rockies with the lead. Got to straighten that out.
You ever hit the guy like 3 rows in the Mountain Ranch Club and he right in the shoulder while he's standing there talking?
That one went above where the Mountain Ranch Club is. That was off the facade of the 3rd deck. Stewart feeling very comfortable at the plate. Those are his words. 2-1. Tell you what, Ed Hickox has had a consistent zone. You have to throw it in the strike zone today.
Oh, yeah, he's not giving corner to corner to anybody. Took his sunglasses off, though.
Good pitch to hit there.
Yeah, Adams just trying to negate the power of Stewart by running hard sinkers down and away. It's a hard pitch to try to lift. If you hit it hard, it's going to be to the opposite field.
Three and two. As Adams misses there to Stewart. You put Olivo in motion, George?
Just thinking of that. I mean, you've got a slow guy to the plate. It gives you that opportunity to do just that.
His last time to the plate was just under 1-5. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 95323. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell.
Finally, he's thrown out this season 25.7% of would-be base stealers. There's 9 guys that he has caught. Torrealba 26.5.
Olivo takes off, and it is fouled off. And Olivo, if we had a swing and miss there, George, would have stolen that bat.
You know what, trainers, I think Adams may have hurt himself a little bit there. See what happens here. Watch his reaction afterwards. Yeah, right there on his side and his back.
He's done, George. That's an oblique. I mean, you can't mess with that. Where he grabbed. You see that happen to hitters.
He's done. Probably going to be Heath Bell. The All-Star break.
Whoever it is will have as much time as they need to get loose. 1 out in the 8th inning. The Rockies have Stewart at the plate, Olivo at first. Stewart has a 3-2 count. The plot thickens, 7-6 San Diego. You by EcoTech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Crazy day. The Padres led at 3-0. The Rockies rallied to tie it in the 5th. Then they took a 6-3 lead in the 6th. They have not been able to hold it, though. 2 unearned runs in the 8th inning. Matt Belisle, with the bases loaded, had a comebacker with 1 out. Could have been a 1-2-3 double play, but he fired it wide of Miguel Olivo. 2 runs came around, the tying run and the go-ahead run. And now the Rockies are trying to rally against initially Michael Adams in the 8th inning. Michael Adams gave up a leadoff single to Miguel Olivo. Brad Eldred flied out, and then Ian Stewart had a 3-2 count. He fouled off a pitch, and Michael Adams grabbed his side. So Heath Bell will come on, and his first pitch will be that 3-2 delivery to Ian Stewart. He's going to the All-Star game up the road in Anaheim after this. Not up the road in Denver, but up the road from San Diego.
23 of 26 save opportunities. Very good earned run average. The opposition 252. Yorvik Torrealba has come in a double switch because the pitcher was due up 4th in the inning. So Torrealba will now catch and hit 9th. It's all the time he needs to get loose. A lot of times it's difficult on relievers to come into games like this. It's because you're used to kind of warming up on your own down there, and you throw and throw, and the adrenaline starts rushing. You say, I'm ready to go, when you're really not ready to come into a ball game.
And George's first, probably 10 tosses, he took in the bullpen, and then he kind of flipped the ball to the bullpen catcher and jogged in. And when he got here, and it was during the commercial break, I mean, the first probably 10, 12 throws to, at that time, Nick Hundley was still standing up. I mean, he was still clearly getting loose. Then he went to the back of the mound.
That's pretty typical. I mean, that's the way you warm up a lot of times, is have a guy upright. And when your arm gets loose, then you drop him down behind the plate and start to work on throwing strikes and do what you need to do. Well, apparently he must be ready to go right now. Ed Hickok telling him, hey, not trying to make you feel bad, but you got to run on first and a 3-2 count.
So now the crowd getting involved. Olivo with good speed at first was off on that initial 3-2 pitch that Michael Adams threw. And now Heath Bell out there. Of course, Olivo has been on base, I'm sure, when Bell's been out there, but it's different. He was just looking at one guy's move for a number of pitches, and now you have a completely different guy out there. So I don't know if they'll move him here 3-2. Kind of strange also for Stewart. And a 5-minute break in the middle of a lengthy at bat. 3-2.
I think it affects the pitcher more than it does the hitter. Bell's fastball, we'll see him touch the mid-90s. Got a very good explosive slider. The Rockies, quite honestly, have had pretty good success against Bell. Stewart 1 for 5. Last year, that string running where he had not blown a save.
And as he's chopped it short without the runner moving, it wasn't hit hard enough for 2. And Stewart trades places with Olivo. And with 2 outs, Clint Barmas has been called back, and Seth Smith will hit here against Bell.
Well, I mentioned his numbers: 6 for 20, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, which leads the National League in pinch hitters.
Smith 7 for 19 against Padres pitching this year. Giambi's on deck. Smith 1 for 3 against Heath Bell. Ball 1. Talked about this earlier. Most ribbies by a pinch hitter this year in the National League. Seth Smith with 11. And Bell has not given in with the fastball yet. A couple of breaking balls. It's 1-1. And another one.
That's such a good fastball hitter, and particularly a good breaking ball hitter from the middle half in, not so much away. Even though he stands on top of the plate. Those last two have been not in the inner half of the plate. You can see they're on the outer half of the plate.
First fastball he throws misses, 2-2. Yep.
At 95.
Yep, came across at 95. Stewart at first. Rockies trailing by a run. Good swing. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Stewart will be off with the pitch. Which is a nice advantage if you get one in the gap. Down the line to Gonzalez, and he gloves it on one hop and runs to the bag. So we'll go to the 9th inning. Heath Bell gets the final 2 outs of the 8th. 7-6 Padres. On FSN is brought to you by the official fan-to-fan marketplace of the Colorado Rockies, by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. By Dex One Marketing Solutions, business results. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Old Chicago, eat, drink, and be yourself. Padres up 7-6. They've out-hit the Rockies 13-8. With the Rockies trailing by a run because of a couple of unearned runs last inning. Rafael Betancourt is on to try to keep it a one-run game and allow the Rockies for more walk-off theatrics. They hope in the bottom of the 9th inning. Here's Tom Helmer.
Yeah, coming back for the ball game, we'll talk about Johnny B. Good. Jonathan Herrera continues his hit streak. Also, we'll talk about the Rockies' erratic behavior, which has caused them to fall behind. And, of course, we'll get you to the clubhouse after the ball game. It's all coming up on the Rockies postgame report. Drew?
All right, Tom, thanks. It's Chase Headley to lead off. First, Jonathan Herrera will move to shortstop with Barmes being pinch hit for. Melvin Mora enters the ball game. He's at second. And Rafael Betancourt, the aforementioned Betancourt, will be on for the 38th time here. Headley, Denorfia, and Everett Cabrera. The official word, Michael Adams leaves with a left oblique strain.
38th ball game for Betancourt. Roughed up a little earlier in the season. All of a sudden, calmed down, throwing the ball very, very well.
Headley, it's a fly ball to left field. Long run for Cargo, and he'll get over there and make the catch. Chris Denorfia will come up. Headley retired. Headley has one hit in the series, but it was a big one. A two-run double back in the 7th inning. Denorfia is 0 for 3 and an intentional walk. The Rockies will have Mora, Fowler, and Herrera scheduled next inning. You know, we've seen the Rockies, Jim Tracy, pinch hit, even though Herrera's been great offensively. We've seen him pinch hit for Herrera once or twice with Giambi. I don't know if that's an option, George, because if you tie it up, you don't have a shortstop.
Yeah, that's the thing you run into, but you know what? You got to tie it up before you can make a decision. You're going to have to make that move. So you got to do what you can do to get a run across the kid.
One out base hit for Denorfia. That'll bring up Cabrera. I mean, your options, again, we'll see how it plays out. Your options would be Stewart or Mora. First things first, as they say. They get it? That was pretty close.
Well, as a first baseman, too, when you get a snap throw like that on the money, and you got a guy like a veteran like Betancourt that can do it, when you receive the ball, you carry the ball to see how the ball's coming to him, and he knows it's going to be a strike, so he carries the glove back as a right-handed first baseman. He kind of the ball's not in his glove, but his glove's going back, and as he catches it, it makes the tag much quicker.
Denorfia can run. Betancourt's mindful of that. Check on him again. In the air to right center field, pretty deep. You gotta be kidding me. That thing just carried out of the ballpark. First home run of the year for Everett Cabrera.
Slow down, too. You're going to pass it.
That'd be okay. They'd cancel out a run.
That's exactly right. Wow. Didn't anticipate that out of the little fellow. See where it is. Fastball. High fastball. You can see Betancourt looking at it. He's thinking it's just fly ball in the right field. Might get to the warning track, but it's not going to get over the fence. Spielborg's looking at it. He's looking like still going, jumps up on the wall. And then, you kidding me?
That is about the last thing you thought would happen with Cabrera at the plate. 3 for his last 28. Now base hit up the middle for Yorvi Torrealba. 9-6 Padres. They scored 6 runs in the last 3 innings. Last home run for Cabrera was August 7th of last year. That's just his 3rd career home run. Jerry Hairston with 3 hits takes ball 1.
Beimel and Corpus started to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
One and one.
Doug, did you flinch? That's $1. Did you flinch? You took off running?
That's gonna yes, and Walter can't handle the one-hop throw. I thought initially I was going to drop. Spilborg did a great job coming on and taking it off his shoe tops.
First base umpire, Fielding Colbert, did the same thing. I mean, he got out there far enough where he could get a good angle on it to see whether he caught it or not. See what happened on it. Ooh, that's close. Did a good job. Yep, caught it. He was watching it. Ball was going to bounce off of Torrealba. He went out quite a ways. And what did he hesitate there for? Was there a trick play on the bases or something?
No, but that's a really tough play for a base runner.
You see him catch it, the ball's in front of you, staring right at it, turn around, go back to the bag.
George had to make sure he caught it. He has to glance at the umpire to make sure it was an out call. Otherwise, right?
Yeah, you're going to double them off pretty easy there.
You're going to get a double play.
He hesitated, Fielding Colbert.
Get a force out of me.
He called it pretty fast, too. That's one benefit of it. You see a lot of umpires kind of give the old lazy one. Got it. Nice play by Spilly.
0-1 on Aaron Cunningham. Here goes Torrealba, and he steals the second base. 4 stolen bases for Jorvik.
Big jump. They actually faked it a little bit beforehand. You know, that's the thing about Miguel Oliva, Torrealba. They're sneaky fast. You know, you don't think they're that fast, but all of a sudden you look up and they'll steal a base. And at the end of the year as a catcher, they'll have 8 to 10, maybe sometimes 12 stolen bases.
They're good athletes. 2 strikes on Cunningham.
Well, I think the other thing with San Diego's position, they have such a good tandem of catching. That neither one of them really get ran down in the ground.
No, and Hundley's the same way. Hundley's a very good athlete. One and 2 on Cunningham. Betancourt strikes out Cunningham and then looks off in disgust. He gives up a 2-run home run to Everett Cabrera. And now the Rockies are down by 3 going to the bottom of the 9th. Even though the players are away for the All-Star break, FSN Rocky Mountain continues its exclusive coverage of the Rockies with an all-access marathon beginning tomorrow night at 7. Go behind the scenes with your favorite Rockies players and get an in-depth look into their lives on and off the field. That's Rockies All Access tomorrow night at 7 right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. Heath Bell's going to the All-Star game, and now he has a 3-run cushion. It's just the second time he's been asked to work more than an inning this year. He got the final 2 outs of the 8th inning after the injury to Michael Adams. And because of that surprising Everett Cabrera 2-run home run, the Rockies will have to do something. Boy, they haven't done, George, well, a couple days. Pull off
isn't that something? Out of the 8 wins, we've
miracle.
Had 4 walk-off miracles here, whatever it's been. It's been nuts. Hey, and it's only 3 runs this time. You're going to get 9 to win it.
Piece of cake. One and one. Thing you know about the Rockies, it was demonstrated earlier this week, they're going to grind out every at bat until the 27th out.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the biggest thing about those comeback wins, it just gives you like it's never over. Well, you got a chance.
Two and two. Second time that Moore has seen Heath Bell. You want to win them all. You want to knock out every closer you face. But sometimes some that you go against, it makes it a little more gratifying. Heath Bell's a guy that does some antics on the mound that sometimes gets under the skin of
you know,
players
it
on the
reminds
other
me a little
side.
bit like Eckersley and Joaquin Andujar, who used to shoot you, you know, and put the gun back in the holster when he gets you out. Fist pumps after 1 out. And a lot of times, I mean, I didn't ever care for it either as a player against the opposition, even when on my team. But sometimes that's a motivating thing to a player to keep them going.
Hairston will throw out Moore, 1 out. Dexter Fowler will come up. Dexter's 0 for 3 and a walk. Chase Headley already walking in on the grass. Attendance just announced. Another great crowd, 40,460 as that pitch is over for a strike. 40,460 after more than 45,000 last night. 36,000 Friday night. And this is an easy play for Hairston. 2 outs. Johnny Herrera will try to keep it alive. If the Rockies were to get 2 on, you could pinch hit Giambi for Spilborghs. If you wanted to go that route, that one swing route left on right. Not that Spilborghs isn't capable, obviously, of hitting it out of the ballpark either.
Seems like he's throwing more sliders to you than has been fastballs. I mean, he's mixed some fastballs in.
And especially to Smith. Through
More
3 straight curveballs.
More ground ball to second was on a slider. Another slider there, but out of the zone.
I'm a little surprised, honestly, with a 3-run lead, that he's not going after him with, 94, 95.
Finessing his way through the ninth.
Three and one. He's looking at some numbers again, moving ahead, and that's what Jim Tracy has to do in his mind. Think 3-4 down, 3-4 doors down. Spilborg's 1 for 9 in his career against Bell. Giambi's 1 for 4. But you got to get to that spot. 2 outs, nobody on. 3 and 1 on Herrera. He'll be taken here. And ball 4. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez.
They've been thinking an awful lot about Gonzalez in that on-deck circle, and knowing that if Gonzalez does something, then you could use Giambi to come up and pitch hit against you. Right? And then you got, but who goes to your outfield? You get tied games, and then you got to have to move some things around.
This is what you do, and this is why it's different than if you had to pinch hit for Herrera. You didn't have a shortstop. Brad Eldred can play the outfield. Giambi, if they tied it up, Giambi would go to first. Brad Eldred would go to the outfield. Giambi in the on-deck circle. And that misses. Herrera moved up.
Well, Bell can strike out a lot of people, but he can also walk a few. 36 2/3, 14 walks. Given up 1 home run in those 36 2/3 innings.
One and one on Cargo. And a base hit to left field. Herrera will score, and the tying run will come up in Giambi.
60 RBIs for Cargo. Well, once again, you think you got a closer punch out a bunch of people so you don't hold Herrera on. He gets into scoring position, and Gonzo comes up with a big base hit, a line drive to left field. With 2 outs, score Johnny Herrera. Now you've got an opportunity to tie this thing with 1 swing of the bat.
On the outside corner for a strike. We've got tacos. Fans, the Rockies have scored 7 runs, so don't forget to go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. 0-1 on Giambi. 1-1.
1 for 4 in his career. Giambi is against Heath Bell.
That catches the zone. 1-2. It's gone away. Not surprising.
Let's see what Bell chooses now, and see Torrealba behind him. Ball for a breaking ball. Now he's going back outside. Wants the fastball.
Good eye. 2-2. George, I know you felt this way as a reliever. You don't want to get beat pull side by a home run late to tie a game or lose a game.
Well, you don't want to get beat by throwing a second or third pitch because you're trying to outguess somebody either.
Swung on and missed. And the Padres win it 9-7. Bell survives the 9th. And the Padres end the Rockies' 6-game winning streak. The Padres will carry a 2-game lead into the All-Star break in the National League West, but the Rockies are right there They have an 8-2 homestand. And they go to the break 10 games above 500, 49-39. Just 2 games back in the National League West and positioned beautifully for the second half. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Heath Bell got the final 5 outs. He did give up a run in an inning and 2/3. But he was supplied with a 3-run cushion, which made things a lot easier after that Everett Cabrera home run. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Gregerson gets the win. Belisle takes the loss. And Bell picks off his 24th save. San Diego comes